all forms of terrorism and strongly condemns the terrorist attack that occurred on April 22nd. All right, so that's the latest breaking news that we have. China turns away from Pakistan. Pakistan now completely cornered. Moving on, Mumbai police have registered a case against NCP SP MLA Jitendra Awad and others for allegedly obstructing public servants from performing their duties during a protest at the Maharashtra Vidhan Bhavan. Here's a detailed report on that.
The Mumbai police has registered a case against the NCP Sharad Pawar MLA Jitendra Awad and others for obstructing public servants in discharging their duty while staging a protest at the Maharashtra Vidhan Bhavan. Awad was dragged by the police in the wee hours of the day during his protest against the detention of his supporters Nitin Deshmukh, who was assaulted by the supporters of BJP MLA Gopichand Padalkar during the scuffle in the building a day before. According to the police, Jitendra Awad physically blocked a police vehicle transporting Deshmukh to the station and sat in front of it. When he did not move despite repeated requests, he was dragged away by the police officials. Meanwhile, NCP Sharad Pawar MLA Rohit Pawar went to the Azad Maidan police station along with Awad to visit Deshmukh and had a heated exchange with the police officers. A video of the heated argument between the cop and Pawar went viral on social media platforms, where he was heard shouting in Marathi at a sub-inspector at the Azad Maidan police station. Later he said that the police officer did not give proper information and allegedly raised his voice, which led to the argument.
And there's some big breaking news that's coming in, and this is in regard with the Patna gang war case. Remember, it was just 2 days back when we saw open firing in Patna's hospital. In the same case, we learned that Patna police have arrested 5 people in Bengal. Patna police has interrogated Sheru, who is lodged in the Bengal jail. The killers were on the loose after gunning down gangster Chandan Mishra in Patna's Paras hospital. Killers who were seen opening fire, brandishing guns in a hospital in Patna have now been caught. All the 5 accused have been arrested. Patna police has arrested the 5 people, and this was from West Bengal. We learned that according to the information that was received, 5 people were involved in the incident that have been arrested in the raid of Patna Police STF in West Bengal. Police has not officially confirmed this. However, police has arrested 5 people by conducting raids in Bengal after completing the legal process. The police will bring all of them to Patna. All of them were involved in the murder, according to police sources. It is also being told that some more people are also involved in this case, for whose arrest raids are underway. Within 48 hours, the police has arrested 5 people involved in this murder. However, police sources are still silent in the whole matter and are not giving out full details on what was the exact motive, how many people were involved. The gang war that started just 48 hours back in Patna in Bihar, how you can see how there were 5 armed men who entered a hospital in Patna, entered a room, in fact, shot 1 person dead, and this was due to a gang war that erupted between 2 gang leaders. 5 accused openly brandishing gun in a hospital in Patna, complete collapse of law and order. All the 5 accused have now been nabbed in the state of West Bengal. Remember, there were raids that were underway, and that had been underway since 48 hours. 48 hours later, the 5 accused that you see on your screen brandishing guns inside a hospital in Patna have now been arrested. The police is, however, silent on how many more people were involved in the case and what was the exact motive, if they wanted to kill more people. What we do know so far is that the killers were on loose but now have been arrested. Further interrogation in the case is underway. Let's now have a quick check of the other stories that we are tracking amid the furor around the Wall Street Journal report claiming that ones of pilots deliberately cut fuel to the AI-171 Dreamliner jet, resulting in the deadly crash. Aviation expert Captain Sharat Panikkar alleged that sensitive and privileged information on the ongoing crash probe was leaked to push and peddle a certain narrative. Panikkar said a reporter in India initially put out a story which was picked up and given a bigger splash by the United States Daily. The Wall Street Journal, 2 days later, he claimed that the Wall Street Journal ran another report on July 17, which went into further details of the ongoing probe. He said such reports could have been published without the authorization of the Aircraft Accident Investigation Bureau.
There seems to be a narrative that's being built out here. First by the reporter who reported this 2 days before, and then later on picked up with the Wall Street Journal, which reported 2 days later. A similar looking narrative. And now the third instance of the Wall Street Journal again on the 17th of this month, which has gone into further details. None of which I believe should have been available to them. And in any case, I do not think they have the locus standi to be able to carry out such reports without the authorization of the official Indian Aircraft Accident Investigation Bureau.
The Congress upped the ante on the BJP government in Odisha over the death of the Balasore student who set herself ablaze at her teaching college in Balasore, alleging inaction on her sexual harassment complaint against her HOD, claiming that the student approached a state minister with her complaint but received no response. Congress state president said that she would still be alive if her concerns were addressed on the right time. He also dared the Chief Minister Mohan Charan Manji, in the state education minister and the ruling MPs to come clean on why an FIR wasn't registered in the case.
सरकार एक एफआईआर का जवाब नहीं दे पा रहा। क्यों नहीं हुआ एफआईआर? हम बार बार मांग कर रहे हैं कि आप जितना भी प्रेस कॉन्फ्रेंस करो, कल भारतीय जनता पार्टी का प्रेस कॉन्फ्रेंस में हमारे खिलाफ जो बोलना है बोल सकते थे, बोलिए आप जितना बोलना है बोलिए। आप रोज़ प्रेस कॉन्फ्रेंस के करके हमारे हम जो महिला को न्याय की लड़ाई लड़ रहे हैं उसके खिलाफ आप बोलें। आप बहुत जागरूक हो।
A parliamentary delegation from the Democratic Republic of Korea met Lok Sabha Speaker Om Birla at the Parliament House on Friday. Visuals showed Speaker chairing a meeting at the Parliament House after being introduced to the visiting delegation. The Parliament will soon convene for the monsoon session, which was scheduled to start on the July 21st and end on August 12th. The schedule for the monsoon session was announced by the Union Parliamentary Affairs Minister Kiran Rijiju. Congress has launched a scathing attack on the BJP-led NDA at the centre over filing of a charge sheet by the Enforcement Directorate against party and former State Minister Harak Singh Rawat, his wife and 3 others in connection with an alleged money laundering case. On Friday, Congress State Vice President Suryakant Sarma accused the BJP of using ED, CBI and other central probe agencies to suppress opposition leaders. He also questioned why no action was taken against Harak Singh Rawat when he was previously with the BJP.
ये पूरे देश में ईडी, सीबीआई, इनकम टैक्स, ये एजेंसीज जिस प्रकार से केंद्र सरकार, भारतीय जनता पार्टी, रूल्ड स्टेट्स की सरकार इनको अपने विरोधियों की आवाज़ दबाने के लिए इस्तेमाल कर रही है, उसी का एक हिस्सा है। हरक सिंह रावत जी इतने लंबे समय भाजपा में रहे, मंत्री रहे, उस समय उनके खिलाफ कोई कार्रवाई नहीं हुई। आज उनके खिलाफ कार्रवाई जो कर रहे हैं, अगर वो भाजपा में होते तो क्या ये कार्रवाई जो चार्जशीट की या कंप्लेंट की ईडी ने की है, ये कार्रवाई उनके खिलाफ होती?
In a chilling development, a Russian woman and her 4-year-old son have gone missing since July 7, sparking a deepening international custody dispute. The woman, who is allegedly in a relationship with a diplomat, was last seen entering the Russian embassy in New Delhi on July 4 along with her child. The Supreme Court of India has now stepped in, ordering a full investigation while demanding that the Russian embassy cooperate with the authorities. Here's all that you need to know.
A chilling disappearance that has stunned both India and Russia. A mother and her young child vanish under mysterious circumstances, and a bitter custody battle now adds layers of complexity. The Supreme Court has intervened, stating that the child, an Indian citizen, is not supposed to leave the country as per a court order. Meanwhile, the lawyer has confirmed that the mother and child did not leave through official means. Listen in.
Supreme Court is monitoring. We have strong belief on Supreme Court, and accordingly authorities will act in terms of Supreme Court direction. We believe that.
Saikat Basu, the husband of the missing woman, has confirmed that the couple's custody dispute was at the heart of the matter.
On 4th of July, I saw her taking luggages and entering Russian embassy. But she stayed there for some time, but when she came back, she had no luggages, and I also have proof of that. On 7th morning, 7th of July, I handed my son over as per Supreme Court order. And 8:33 a.m. it was the time when I handed him over to her. She took my son away. My son was waving me goodbye. I also recorded the video. I have it with me right now. And that was the last time I saw my son, and I have not seen my son ever since.
The search for the woman and child continues. The case is rapidly evolving, and with the top court intervening, the stakes have never been higher.
It's time for us to slip into a short break, but stay tuned because we are building up to the second edition of the Nationalist Collective Conclave. And also coming up after the break are all the details on India rejecting the sanctions by European Union, calling out the double standards.
भारत की अपनी दुकान इंडिया सोना, अपने देश का सामान इंडिया सोना, इंडिया सोना, इंडिया सोना। MDH की देगी मिर्च,
देगी मिर्च का तड़का, अंग अंग फड़का।
MDH की देगी मिर्च, केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ रे, दिल झूमे देखो मतवारा हुआ रे, केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ।
हर पल मनाओ केसरी त्योहार, विमल बोलो जुबान केसरी।
After the phenomenal success of first edition, in a few hours from now, the second edition of the Nationalist Collective Conclave will be live. Stay tuned. A ringside seat to the biggest conclave on nationalism, an unprecedented opportunity for 100 Nationalist Collective members to be a part of Republic's Nationalist Collective Conclave. Marathi language row explodes. MNS Chief Raj Thackeray threatens BJP MP Nishikant Dubey over his previous comment. Encounter underway with Maoists in Chhattisgarh's Abjumad. 6 Maoists killed, a large number of weapons recovered. National Investigation Agency charge sheets top Maoist terrorists for involvement in anti-India conspiracy. India rejects European Union's unilateral sanctions, stresses that there should be no double standards, especially when it comes to energy and trade. Starting this edition with some big breaking news coming in, and this is in regard with the Air India crash probe. The US probe agency National Transportation Safety Board Chief Jennifer has issued a statement on the United States media reports on Air India probe report, where she said, and I quote, "Recent media reports on the Air India 171 crash are premature and speculative. India's Aircraft Accident Investigation Bureau just released its preliminary report. Investigations of this magnitude will take time, and that they fully support the AAIB's public appeal, which was released on Thursday, and will continue to support its ongoing investigation. All investigative questions should be addressed only and only through the Aircraft Accident Investigation Bureau." So that's the big breaking news that's coming in. Remember, it was the Wall Street Journal that had earlier peddled a narrative against our pilots, against Indian pilots, saying that they were responsible for the crash that happened in Ahmedabad. However, we learned that the United States probe agency National Transportation Safety Board Chief has issued a statement and has completely dismissed the United States WSJ on what they said about the aircraft crash. On that note, I'm being joined by Robindra Sachdeva. Sir, thank you very much for speaking to Republic this morning. The WSJ certainly peddled a narrative that was against the Indian pilots. It was a prejudice, of course. And today, the United States and the world is proving them wrong, saying that the report was fake and there must be no speculations over it.
Thank you so much. Yeah, media very often carries reports which are speculative, which may have some vested interests also, right? So, keeping aside whether Wall Street Journal was true or fake, whatever, the fact is that the National Transportation Safety Board of the US, NTSB, has also said, and our Indian authority was saying that it is premature to make any or to come to any conclusions. When the investigative agencies are not able to come to any conclusion, how can a media, outlet come to a conclusion and pinpoint to one way or the other the error? The big picture here is that there are two forces, two vectors playing on. One is, was it a failure of the machine or the man? And both would have some implications. Now, one can understand this. Boeing, the aircraft manufacturer, would have a vested interest in kind of conveying or in a report which says that it was not the fault of the machine, rather it was a human error. We understand that could be so. But as of now, to speculate whether it was the machine or the man is absolutely premature. So therefore, yes, it's good that the NTSB has come out with a statement.
Right, sir. Thank you very much for sharing your views this morning. We move on to the other stories that we're tracking on this edition, and this one is making international headlines. The European Union, ladies and gentlemen, has rolled out a fresh round of sanctions against Russia over its war in Ukraine, this time lowering the price cap of Russian oil exports. It marks the 18th sanction package since the year 2002 invasion. Meanwhile, India has responded strongly, calling out the European Union's double standards in energy trade. Here's all that you need to know.
The European Union came out with its 18th round of sanctions against Russia, targeting the country's energy sector, which includes a Gujarat-based refinery. Responding to the EU sanctions and the NATO's threat of secondary sanctions on countries still trading with Russia, India called out the bloc's double standards in energy trade. The spokesperson for the Ministry of External Affairs, Randeep Jaiswal, posted on X that India does not subscribe to any unilateral sanction measures. Jaiswal added that India considers provision of energy security a critical responsibility and therefore no double standards are entertained. Earlier, the MEA also hit back at NATO Chief Mark Rutte's comments on potential secondary sanctions over the purchase of Russian oil. The MEA highlighted that securing India's energy needs is an overriding priority and decisions are driven by available offers and prevailing global circumstances.
That President Trump said, basically, if Russia is not serious about peace talks, within 50 days he will slam secondary sanctions on countries like India, China and Brazil. So my encouragement to these three countries particularly is, if you live now in Beijing or in Delhi, or you are the president of Brazil, you might want to take a look into this, because this might hit you very hard. So please make the phone call to Vladimir Putin and tell him that he has to get serious about peace talks, because otherwise this will slam back on Brazil, on India and on China in a massive way. So I think it was a very smartly, wisely designed announcement yesterday by President Trump, but also the weapons I think is very important, and we will find the money in Europe to make sure that Ukraine has what it needs to be in the best possible position during these peace talks as soon as they start.
The NATO Secretary General urged India, China and Brazil to reconsider the purchase of crude from Russia or face the prospect of 100% secondary sanctions.
We have seen reports on the subject and are closely following the developments. Let me reiterate, and I've said this in the past as well, securing energy needs of our people is understandably an overriding priority for us. In this endeavor, we are guided by what is there on offer in the markets, as also by the prevailing global circumstances. We would particularly caution against any double standards on the matter.
However, the EU and NATO threats are unlikely to deter India from pursuing its national interest and ensuring energy security.
A deadly explosion rocked Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department training facility on Friday. According to the reports, at least 3 people were killed in the blast, which occurred near a bomb squad vehicle. The United States Attorney General Pam Bondi called it a horrific incident, confirming that federal agents have been deployed and an investigation is currently underway. Here's more on the story.
At least 3 people died in an explosion at a training facility of the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department on Friday. The deceased were identified as the sheriff's deputies. The explosion occurred on Friday at the Biscayne Training Center in East Los Angeles. The explosion blew out several nearby vehicle windows, pointing to its intensity. The exact cause of the explosion is not yet known, with the authorities not releasing any official statement. Confirming the deaths in a post, U.S. Attorney General Pam Bondi called it a horrific incident, saying federal agents were at the blast site and a full-scale investigation was underway. Emergency responders rushed to the scene after the blast, officials said, adding that the probe was focused on ascertaining the sequence of events leading up to the incident. The US Attorney General informed further that the FBI and the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco and Firearms and Explosives were on site to assist with the response. California Governor Gavin Newsom's office said he had been briefed on the reported explosion and was closely monitoring the situation.
Let's now have a quick check of the other stories that are making international headlines. Protests across all 50 United States rallied against President Donald Trump's policies, including cutting essential benefits. A wave of 1,500 to 1,600 protests swept across the United States as part of Good Troubles Lives On National Day of Action, a widespread response to Trump and his policies. Commenting on the 18th round of European Union sanctions against Russia over its conflict in Ukraine, Kremlin spokesman said on Friday that the latest European Union sanctions package was a part of bloc's consistent anti-Russian stance against Russia and that Russia considered such unilateral restrictions unlawful. Responding to the continuous Chinese aggression against Taiwan, Taiwanese vice president has said that they will not provoke a confrontation with China, adding that their country is facing ongoing pressures from China militarily, economically, politically and psychologically. Japanese Prime Minister Ishiba met with the United States Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent in Tokyo ahead of the scheduled imposition of 25% duty on Japan. According to Ishiba, who requested both ministers continue having strenuous talks regarding tariffs, he said that he was certain that they would meet an agreement without a doubt. Turkish President Recep Erdogan condemned Israel's military actions in Syria, accusing the country of a terrorist state as well as destabilizing force in the region. In a televised speech following a cabinet meeting on Thursday, Erdogan renewed Turkey's support for Syria's territorial integrity, saying Turkey will never allow the country to be fragmented. Coming up after the break, the big build-up of the Nationalist Collective Conclave. Also a ringside seat to the biggest conclave on nationalism, an unprecedented opportunity for 100 Nationalist Collective members to be a part of Republic's Nationalist Collective Conclave.
QS and THE, the world's foremost university rankings organizations, have ranked Amity amongst the top 3% universities globally, making it among the very few Indian universities to be included in both rankings. Yet another top ranking for Amity University.
MDH की हल्दी मिर्ची धनिया करे कमाल, ये रंग दे, ये खुशबू दे, ये तीखा, ये कम पड़े, क्या निराला MDH मसाला। भारत की अपनी दुकान, इंडिया सोना, अपने देश का सामान, इंडिया सोना, इंडिया सोना, इंडिया सोना।
Thank you for staying with Republic. Brazilian President Lula da Silva has strongly condemned the United States President Donald Trump's threat of new tariffs on Brazilian imports, calling it unacceptable blackmail. In a televised address, President Lula reaffirmed Brazil's sovereignty and made it clear that the country will not tolerate interference in its judicial system. Take a look at this report.
Brazilian President Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva rejected his US counterpart Donald Trump's latest tariff threat, calling it unacceptable blackmail. The response came after President Trump announced plans to impose a 50% tariff on Brazilian goods unless the country halts the trial of former President Jair Bolsonaro. In a televised address, Lula said Brazil was a sovereign nation and will not accept interference in its judicial process. He further stated that Brazil will take all necessary measures to defend its economy, including approaching the World Trade Organization if needed. The tariffs, set to kick in from August 1st, mark a sharp increase from the 10% rate imposed in April. Key Brazilian exports such as beef, coffee and orange juice are likely to be affected by the new tariff, potentially raising food prices for American consumers. Though Trump has imposed tariff on many countries on the grounds of trade disparity, Brazil's case is different as it is the first country to be targeted on account of clear political differences. Former President Bolsonaro has long been an ally of President Trump. Trump's targeting of Lula over the upcoming Bolsonaro trial threatens a rapid downturn in US-Brazil relations.
The Trump 2.0 administration has announced plans to move courts seeking the unsealing of secret documents linked to the Jeffrey Epstein case. Reports suggest that the move comes amid mounting pressure from Trump supporters to make the files public. Trump's former White House colleagues, Elon Musk, had earlier dropped a bombshell aiming that the President Trump was named in the classified Epstein files. However, the tech tycoon later walked back on that claim. Take a look at this raging controversy.
Under intense pressure from US President Donald Trump's own supporters, his administration now says it'll push a court to unseal secret documents related to Jeffrey Epstein's case. The move, according to reports, is aimed at putting to rest the looming political crisis following allegations tying Trump to the Epstein files. Trump's former White House colleague Elon Musk earlier dropped a bombshell claiming that the former was in the classified Epstein files. However, he later retracted the claim. The president has dismissed his alleged link to the late convicted sex offender as a big hoax. The White House too jumped to Trump's defense, accusing the Democrats of doing nothing to ensure transparency in the Epstein case when they were in power.
The president is referring to the fact that Democrats have now seized on this as if they ever wanted transparency when it comes to Jeffrey Epstein, which is an asinine suggestion for any Democrat to make. The Democrats had control of this building, the White House, for 4 years, and they didn't do a dang thing when it came to transparency in regards to Jeffrey Epstein and his heinous crimes. It was this president who directed the Department of Justice and the Attorney General to do an exhaustive review of all files related to Jeffrey Epstein, which they did. The Attorney General and the FBI, led by Pam Bondi, Dan Bongino, Kash Patel, these are great patriots, some of the most trusted voices in the Republican Party movement. It's part of the reason the president appointed them to these high law enforcement positions.
Even if the records eventually become public, it's far from certain they'll appease the critics. Trump's critics have accused his administration of going back on its promise of full transparency about the evidence against the wealthy financier turned sex convict. Trump earlier accused the Democrats and some foolish Republicans of peddling conspiracy theories related to the Epstein case.
भारत की अपनी दुकान इंडिया सोना अपने देश का सामान इंडिया सोना इंडिया सोना इंडिया जोना।
आधे बाउल दही में 4 चम्मच MDH चटनी पुदीना मसाला डाला, स्टर करो, पुदीना चटनी तैयार। MDH चटनी पुदीना मसाला।
केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ रे, दिल झूमे देखो मतवारा हुआ रे। केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ।
हर पल मनाओ केसरी त्योहार। विमल, बोलो जुबान केसरी।
And here are some stories from the world of sports. BCCI President Roger Binney turns 70. The former Indian bowler who was a leading wicket taker in the title-winning 1983 World Cup will have to vacate his post as the president due to BCCI's age cap rule. He has led the Apex Cricket Board for nearly 3 years after succeeding Sourav Ganguly in the year 2022. Coach Gautam Gambhir's support staff and teammate Mohammad Siraj hailed Ravindra Jadeja's incredible fight during his heroic knock, which put the visitors inches away from a memorable victory at Lord's. In the third test against England, he remained unbeaten on 61 as India's chase of 193 runs ended on a heartbreaking note. Former Indian cricketer Mohammad Kaif has shared his assessment of Shubham Gill's captaincy during the ongoing test series against England, highlighting how toss outcomes have influenced match results. He advised Gill to follow ex-skipper Virat Kohli's approach, win the toss and bat, put runs on the board. Former Indian cricketer Sanjay Manjrekar has suggested that Shubman Gill's fiery on-field spat with Zach Crowley during the Lord's Test may have thrown the young Indian skipper off his game and affected his performance with the bat. Gill was dismissed for just 6 in the second innings after the verbal altercation. Former Indian cricketer and head coach Ravi Shastri feels Rishabh Pant shouldn't play the fourth test against England if he isn't fit to do the wicket-keeping. Pant injured his finger on day one of the third test and didn't keep wickets for the remainder of the match, with Dhruv Jurel filling his place. Indian chess sensation R. Pragananda suffered a heartbreaking defeat to American Grandmaster Karuna in the game as he was knocked out of the freestyle chess Las Vegas Grand Slam title race, while his compatriot Arjun Agassi became the only Indian to reach the semi-final. The women's marathon world record holder Ruth is facing a 2-year ban after testing positive for a banned diuretic and masking agent. The Athletics Integrity Unit has announced, as per reports, she was not in the right mental or physical place to race her best.
भारत की अपनी दुकान इंडिया सोना, अपने देश का सामान इंडिया सोना, इंडिया सोना, इंडिया सोना।
दादी के हाथों का जादू और खुशबू से महकता घर, माँ की मुस्कुराहट और खाने की सुगंध। MDH गरम मसाला,
क्योंकि हर रिश्ता है स्वाद से जुड़ा।
केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ रे, दिल झूमे देखो मतवारा हुआ रे, केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ।
हर पल मनाओ केसरी त्योहार। विमल, बोलो जुबान केसरी।
The reason we've launched the Nationalist Collective is because we believe it is time now for a group of ideologically driven Indians to drive the destiny of our country. For far too long, people who have had interests inimical to national interest have held sway. We need to put nationalism first, nation first. The Nationalist Collective is a very clear and sharp movement, presents the spirit of a new India which stands by what is right, does what is right, and raises its voice for what is right. Remember, this country is safe only if it is in the hands of nationalists. This country will grow only if nation first becomes our principal motto, where the only ism that matters is nationalism. Join the Nationalist Collective. It is going to be the largest non-political movement in this country.
From Asia's largest news headquarters, setting the agenda for Bharat. You're watching Republic.
You're watching live and breaking on Republic TV. I'm Aishwarya Kapoor with you. The top story that we are tracking for you is the US body NTSB supporting the AAIB crash report and saying that the media reports on the Air India crash are speculative. That's the big news that we will be tracking. Let's also take a look at the other big stories that we are tracking for you in the headlines. After the phenomenal success of the first edition, in a few hours from now, the second edition of the Nationalist Collective Conclave will be live. Stay tuned. A ringside seat to the biggest conclave on nationalism, an unprecedented opportunity for 100 nationalist collective members to be a part of Republic's nationalist collective conclave. After US labels TRF as a global terror outfit, China calls for stronger regional anti-terror cooperation and strongly condemns the Pahalgam terror attack. Jammu and Kashmir Police intensify search operations across the valley. 10 locations searched by J&K Police's counter-intelligence officials. Encounter underway with Maoists in Chhattisgarh's Abuj Namar. 6 Maoists killed, large number of weapons recovered. National Investigation Agency charge sheet stop Maoist terrorists for involvement in anti-India conspiracy. Viewers, at the top of 9, we have big breaking news coming in from Noida, where a private university BDS student has been found dead. Now, a suicide note alleges harassment by professors. Now, students' protests followed BDS students' suicide, and they are accusing the police and university of inaction. So what has happened is Jyoti, a second-year BDS student of a private university in Greater Noida, has committed suicide in her room on the 12th floor of the girls' hostel. And a suicide note was also found near Jyoti's dead body, in which she accused 2 of her professors and the management of mental harassment and giving her mental stress for a long time. The police have detained some people from the university and are now investigating the matter. The students of the university say that the mental pressure is being put on the students, and Jyoti was accused of signing a fake document, due to which she was very upset. The students have also accused the police of negligence, due to which there was a heated argument between the students and the police, and there was a lot of ruckus created during this protest. So big story coming in from Noida. University student has committed suicide, and all right, let's listen in to.
सब बच्चे रो रहे थे, तो मैंने उससे पूछा है, तो उसके बाद मुझे पता चला है। और फिर जो भी सीन हुआ है, फिर मैं उसके मम्मी पापा के साथ थी, मैं हॉस्पिटल गई हूँ, मैंने उसकी पूरी बॉडी देखी है कि उसके पास, मैंने उसका पूरा फंदा देखा है कि वो ऐसे डेड बॉडी लेटी हुई थी, और उसको मतलब ठंडे उसके पैर थे और नाखून पूरा नीला पड़ा हुआ था। मैंने खुद देखा है, उसकी मम्मी को मैं ही संभाल रही थी हर समय, लेकिन वार्डन का कोई रिस्पॉन्स नहीं था। कुछ चार्ज का कुछ सिक्योरिटी नहीं अच्छा है, ना खाना अच्छा है, ना कुछ अच्छा है, बॉडी भी उसकी ऐसे लपेट पे ले गई है।
शारदा यूनिवर्सिटी के हॉस्टल में एक छात्रा ने फांसी लगाकर सुसाइड कर लिया है। इस सूचना पर तत्काल पुलिस मौके पर पहुंची तथा पंचायतनामा की कार्रवाई की। परिजन मौके पर आ गए हैं। परिजनों द्वारा दी गई तहरीर के आधार पर सुसंगत धाराओं में मुकदमा पंजीकृत किया गया है तथा आरोपी 2 व्यक्तियों को पूछताछ से हिरासत में लिया गया है। छात्रों का शारदा यूनिवर्सिटी के प्रशासन पर काफ़ी आक्रोश था, जिन्हें समझा बुझाकर शांत कर दिया गया है। मौके पर शांति व्यवस्था कायम है। अग्रिम विधिक कार्रवाई प्रचलित है।
There from Noida, where the students also protesting after the suicide by one of the students, a second-year student in the college. Let's get all the updates. Akhil, my colleague, is now joining us. Akhil, what are the updates now emerging in the case? Has any FIR been filed in the case?
Absolutely, an FIR has already been registered. But if you see the background of this story, what has happened, that a student has committed suicide in girls' hostel room at a private hospital in Greater Noida. The incident took place in Greater Noida under the jurisdiction of Knowledge Park Police Station. And what we have been learning that the deceased was a BDS second-year student, and her body has been sent for the post-mortem after the incident. What we have seen that there was a ruckus at at the university campus itself among several students who were protesting and raising complaints against the administration itself. And in this case, what we have seen that the police team, the Gautam Budh Nagar police team, which include the forensic team as well, and has arrived over there. And after that, what we have seen, they have collected some evidence from the hostel as well. So right now, on the basis of the complaint filed by the victim's family, an FIR has already been raised, and in this case, 2 persons have already been arrested by the Gautam Budh Nagar police at this point in time. But if you see, there's an anger amongst the students of this very private university at this point in time, and they have been constantly protesting regarding this. And a few months back, I was spoken to the additional DCP of Greater Noida, and he has conveyed this, that in this process, a legal action is being taken right now.
Right. And Akhil, I'd like to also know from you that there was a huge student protest that you were mentioning about. How is the tension really inside the university? Because these students are openly calling out the university management for the way they treat the students there.
Absolutely, there was an anger against this, against the administration by the students itself, among the family members as well as the students of that private university. But what we have been learning that from our sources, that at this point in time, the latest update that we are getting, that the situation has been pacified by the Gautam Budh Nagar police team through talks and peace process. So right now, everything is pretty normal. And in this very case, what we are seeing, that the legal action is being taken, as additional DCP of Gautam Budh Nagar has conveyed this in a video message.
All right. Thank you, Akhil, for those updates there. You keep tracking those developments there. We'll keep coming back to you. Thank you so much. All right, viewers, we have big breaking news coming in. Now, the US probe agency, National Transportation on Safety Board, that is the NTSB chief. Now, Jennifer Homendy has issued a statement on the US media reports to Air India probe report, and Homendy has said, and I quote her now, "Recent media reports on the Air India 171 crash are premature and speculative." India's Aircraft Accident Investigation Bureau, or the AAIB, just released its preliminary report. Investigations of this magnitude take time. We fully support the AAIB's public appeal, which was released on Thursday, and we will continue to support its ongoing investigations. All investigative questions should be addressed to the AAIB, unquote. So very, very significant statement coming in from the NTSB chair, saying all media reports on the Air India crash are speculative and premature. All right, let's get a perspective. We have Dr. Dheeraj Kaul, who's a geopolitical expert, who is joining us. Thank you so much, sir, for joining us here on Republic TV. Dr. Kaul, now given that NTSB has now publicly warned against speculative and premature media reports, so how do you interpret this and also the geopolitical undertones of such a statement, especially with Boeing being a key US stakeholder in the crash?
Well, Namaskar. Thank you for having me on the show. A very important question. See, unfortunately, I just saw the news of a student suicide and from atrocities. I'm a physician. I'm involved in teaching, so mental stress is a big issue. But having said that, I think it's absolutely true what you are mentioning. This is very premature. I've been seeing a lot of social media comments about blaming pilots and blaming stress, and I understand that's an important issue, but this is we have to stick to the facts. The facts are that the fuel cut switch was the issue. Was it programmed wrong? It went to an off mode by an accident or a fault in the Boeing or something else. Whatever it is, the investigation will show whether it was manipulated by a human or it was just a machine error. So we have to wait and watch. And it's very unfortunate because pilots are not alive to defend themselves and put their side of the story. And I see it in social media all day long. People commenting and different channels just rushing to blame the pilot. So this is very unfortunate. And I think this is a very welcoming statement coming from the authorities that please wait. These kind of investigations may take up to a year to come to the final conclusion. Before that, it's very, very premature and to be honest, immature to comment and start blaming.
Absolutely, but Dr. Kaul, also at the same time that the entire AAIB report is itself under a lot of scrutiny. Of course, there's been a pilot body that has been calling the report a little biased as well, but it has got support from the other quarters. But how do you look at all these developments really putting pressure to change maybe the outcome of the report?
Yes, absolutely. You're absolutely pointing out in the right direction. And mind you, there was a warning issued many years ago by the authorities that this fuel cutoff switch is an issue. It was an advisory, but advisory has to be taken seriously, and all the airlines supposed to check it. So there is definitely some issue going on with Boeing, and with all disclaimer, I am an investor in Boeing too, and I was very surprised not to see a big drop in the stock price. Matter of fact, it's at all-time high of 52 week right now, Boeing. So it's unbelievable how it has sustained this kind of big drastic event. And to be very, very, very honest, if you look into both sides of the story, they are pitching the suicidal thought process. But why would somebody who has such a long experience, about to retire, takes care of his father, he has somebody dependent, from a medical point of view also, why would he take lives of 270 people? It just doesn't make sense. Absolutely. And that too, at the time of retirement, when he's so dedicated to caring his own father. So these stories, I think government, somebody should take an action and cut down these stories on social media, because this can be very demoralizing for the pilot community, for people taking care of their elderly, and sending a very wrong message even to the loved ones of the two deceased demised pilots as well. I think people should be very sensitive in making these kind of comments before the thorough investigation comes out.
Absolutely. So AAIB has slammed those Wall Street reports, calling them irresponsible, and now NTSB has also lended its support, calling these as premature. Thank you so much, sir, for joining us. And viewers, we have big breaking news coming in from Jammu and Kashmir, where massive search operations have launched in upper reaches of the Kathua district of Jammu. Now, searches were launched in Malad village of Malhar police station of Kathua. 2 to 3 suspects were seen by the locals yesterday night, and forces were informed about the same, and they were asked route by suspects late last night. Now, searches have been launched by the Indian Army and the J&K Police in the area. Now, this area has seen movement of terrorists in the recent past, and encounters as well in Sufain and Panchtirthi areas as well. All right, let's get all the updates. Gursimran, our colleague, is now joining us live from Jammu for more details. Gursimran, a very good morning. What details do we have about these searches that are currently underway?
See, large-scale searches have been launched by the Indian Army as well as Jammu and Kashmir Police. This is in the upper reaches of the Kathua district. To be very specific, it is the Malad village of the Malhar police station that is in the Kathua, and we are told that yesterday evening some 2 to 3 suspects said to be armed and were carrying a backpack. They asked some routes from the locals, after which the locals got suspicion, and they informed the Jammu and Kashmir Police. Jammu and Kashmir Police, along with the Indian Army, has launched a large-scale search operations in the area, because there is a regular input suggesting that the movement of the terrorist is there, because we have seen the Sufain encounter in which 2 Jaish terrorists were killed earlier this year, but 4 brave hearts of the Indian Army, they attained martyrdom in the ongoing operation. And then we saw the encounter breaking out in the Panchtirthi area. Even the Malad and the upper reaches, they have seen multiple anti-terror operations where the terrorists some were trapped or somehow managed to escape from the security forces. Also, Malhar is the same area where 3 people, they died when their bodies were found in a deep gorge in a waterfall. And there was a tweet by the Minister of State in the Prime Minister's office, Dr. Jitendra Singh, who said that this is an act of crime. However, the police investigation never hinted towards the same. So there is always a suspicion that the terrorists are active and they are trying to carry out the terror acts, because multiple such instances have been reported in this area of Bilawar and Malhar. And that's why the intensified operations are underway as we speak. 2 to 3 is the number of the suspects that were seen. We are told that the Special Operations Group, along with the Malhar Police and also the Indian Army and CRPF, they are conducting the large-scale search operations in the area to actually find out who these 3 suspects were. Those who were asking for the route, though they appear to be non-locals, means they were not speaking the local language that the people speak in Malhar. So that's why the forces are concerned and the operations are underway.
Right, and Gursimran also pointing to the fact that, you know, it's been, especially in this early part of the year, we've been witnessing a lot of, you know, such movement and a lot of action and encounters really taking place in this particular area. Of course, Kathua was not as susceptible to terrorism, but of late there have been a lot of encounters really happening in this area.
You have absolutely rightly mentioned that Kathua has not seen this in the past, but all of a sudden, if you speak in last 1.5 years, it all started somewhere close to last year. It was June, July month, same month as we're speaking in 2025, when the Machedi terror attack took place, and that almost changed the dynamics, because then the security forces got that this route has been reactivated by the terrorists, that is the infiltration from the international border in the Samba and Kathua, and then using the Kathua route, the upper reaches route of the Machedi, the upper reaches of the Bani, Bilawar, and then to go to Udhampur or go to Noida and the Kishtwar districts of Jammu and Kashmir, that the Jaish is following this route, and now this has become one of the most active routes. The Indian Army has done a special deployment. Brigade has been moved to this very area, as said earlier by the Minister of State in the Prime Minister's office, Dr. Jitendra Singh, because see what is happening, that due to the there was no that thin presence of the security forces. We saw that they were randomly available in the upper reaches, and that's the advantage the terrorists took to occupy the upper heights and then carry out the terror attacks. But now the dynamics have changed. The forces are dominating the heights, and that is why the security forces are getting the major breakthroughs. They are getting the inputs that the terrorists are being seen, and they are launching the operations.
All right, Gursimran, thank you so much for those details. You keep tracking those developments there. And let's move on in the bulletin, viewers. Our Prime Minister Narendra Modi was on a visit to the state of West Bengal, and while addressing a gathering in Durgapur, he took a sharp dig at the TMC-led state government. The Prime Minister also made an appeal to the people of West Bengal, asking them for an opportunity to bring change. Take a look at this report.
आज हर कोई कह रहा है टीएमसी हटाओ, बंगाल बचाओ। टीएमसी हटाओ।
The West Bengal Assembly elections are on the horizon. In less than a year, the state will go for polling. Prime Minister Modi, on his visit to West Bengal's Durgapur, launched an attack on Mamata Banerjee's TMC government. From employment to economy, from communal violence to increasing crime rates, Modi took a dig at TMC in all the ways possible.
पश्चिम बंगाल में अस्पताल भी बेटियों के लिए सुरक्षित नहीं है, और आप सबने देखा है जब यहां डॉक्टर बेटी के साथ अत्याचार हुआ तो कैसे टीएमसी सरकार अपराधियों को बचाने में जुट गई। इस घटना से देश अभी बाहर निकला भी नहीं था कि एक और कॉलेज में एक बेटी के साथ भयंकर अत्याचार किया गया। इसमें भी जो आरोपी है उनका कनेक्शन टीएमसी से निकला है। टीएमसी के बड़े नेता मंत्री आरोपियों के बजाय पीड़ित को ही दोषी ठहराते रहे। ऐसे कई उदाहरण हैं जो टीएमसी की निर्ममता के साक्षी है।
He also reiterated the fact that once people used to come to West Bengal seeking employment, and now locals are being forced to leave the state. Gunda tax is scaring new companies from coming to West Bengal, Modi added. Prime Minister Modi also emphasized on the infiltration happening in the state and how it's not only unsafe but also against the glory of Bengal. Giving a Paribartan call, Prime Minister Modi said that the day the TMC government falls, only then there will be real development in the state.
मेक इन इंडिया को गति देने के लिए, मिशन मैन्युफैक्चरिंग में तेजी लाने के लिए पश्चिम बंगाल के पास हर शक्ति मौजूद है। बस यहां की टीएमसी सरकार बंगाल के विकास के आगे दीवार बनकर खड़ी है। जिस दिन टीएमसी सरकार की दीवार बंगाल में गिरी, उसी दिन से बंगाल विकास की नई तेजी पकड़ लेगा। टीएमसी की सरकार जाएगी तभी असली परिवर्तन आएगा। टीएमसी जावे तबे আসল পরিবর্তন আসবে।
Besides the political attacks, in a mega infrastructure push, Prime Minister unveiled rupees 5,400 crore development projects in Bengal.
Let's get you some other news. Congress leader and former Chhattisgarh Chief Minister Bhupesh Bagel's son, Chaitanya Bagel, has been sent to 5 days of ED custody by a special PMLA court in Raipur. He was arrested on Friday in connection with a liquor scam-linked money laundering case. Take a look at this report.
The Enforcement Directorate secured a 5-day custodial remand of Chaitanya Bagel, son of former Chhattisgarh CM Bhupesh Bagel. This comes following his arrest in connection with an alleged money laundering case tied to 2 states of rupees 2,100 crore liquor scam. Chaitanya was produced before a special court in Raipur, where ED officials cited fresh evidence obtained during recent raids at the Bagel residence in Bhilai, Durg district. The arrest, which coincided with Chaitanya's birthday and the final day of the monsoon session of the Chhattisgarh Assembly, triggered a wave of backlash.
2022 से जिस प्रकरण में जांच चल रही थी, उस प्रकरण में आज लगभग 4 परिवाद पेश हो चुके हैं। मुख्य परिवाद के बाद 3 पूरक परिवाद पेश हुए हैं। उसमें उन परिवादों में आज तक चैतन्य बघेल जी को एक भी सम्मन्स नहीं मिला था कि आप आइए और बयान दीजिए। चैतन्य बघेल जी से जो उनकी डिवाइसेज, उनके कंप्यूटर, उनके लैपटॉप, उनके फोन मांगे गए थे, उन्होंने उनको ईडी को उपलब्ध कराया था, मगर आज बिना सम्मन्स दिए, बिना कोई पूछताछ किए, आज ईडी उनके जो जन्मदिन का दिन जब वो अपने मंदिर में, घर के मंदिर में पूजा कर रहे थे, उस मंदिर में जाके उनको लाके आज यहाँ कोर्ट में पेश किया है।
Responding to ED's actions against Chaitanya, Bhupesh Bagel slammed the raids and said the centre is misusing the probe agencies to target opposition leaders.
हमारे घर में ईडी का छापा पड़ा। 15 दिन बाद 26 मार्च को सीबीआई का छापा डाला और 10 मार्च से लेके आज 18 जुलाई जब मेरे लड़के का जन्मदिन है, उस दिन तक एक भी नोटिस नहीं, कोई पूछताछ नहीं और आज सीधी गिरफ्तारी। तो ये सीधी बात ये है कि अडानी के खिलाफ कांग्रेस पार्टी ने काम किया। हम सारे विधायक तमनार गए, इसके कारण से ये कार्रवाई की गई।
Soon after the raid and subsequent arrest, senior Congress leaders gathered at Bhupesh Bagel's residence for an emergency meeting, while party workers staged protest outside ED office in Raipur. Leader of opposition Charan Das Mahant led a walkout from the assembly, declaring that the Congress would not be cowed by what he described as a tactical intimidation.
हम सब लोगों ने आज की पूरी कार्रवाई का विरोध किया है। हमारे सब साथी एकजुट है, एक साथ है, सबने एक मत होकर के आज के कार्रवाई का विरोध किया है।
Earlier in the day, the ED conducted a fresh raid at the Bhilai residence of the Baghels, intensifying its investigation into an alleged multi-crore scam. A team of approximately 12 ED officials, accompanied by a heavy contingent of CRPF personnel, arrived at the Baghels residence in Durg district on Friday morning. This marked the second such raid in 6 months against the Congress leader and his family. According to ED, The alleged scam operated between 2019 and 2022 under the Baghel-led government, including a parallel excise network run by bureaucrats and private contractors. His arrest adds to a growing list of high-profile detentions in the case, which has already ensnared former ministers, senior bureaucrats and businessmen.
Time to take a break. Coming up ahead, encounter underway with Maoists in Chhattisgarh's Amujmar. 6 Maoists have been killed. Large number of weapons recovered. Also coming up ahead, National Investigation Agency charge sheets top Maoist terrorists for an involvement in the anti-India conspiracy. Details on those big stories and much more lined up after a short break. Stay with us.
QSMTHE, the world's foremost university rankings organizations, have ranked Amity amongst the top 3% universities globally, making it among the very few Indian universities to be included in both rankings. Yet another top ranking for Amity University.
अब छोलिया हो या लोबिया, सफेद चने या काले चने,
सब कुछ मजेदार बने।
Big breaking news coming in. SpaceX is going to launch 24 Starlink satellites into the polar orbit on Falcon 9 rocket from California. This is the launch that has already happened. SpaceX has launched 24 Starlink satellites into the polar orbit on Falcon 9 rocket, and this is happening off the California coast. So this mission...
Stage 1 entry burn shutdown.
So this mission, dubbed Starlink 17...
Both vehicles remain on nominal trajectories.
At the Vandenberg Space Force base in California today. And this is the live coverage that we can see. So this is the plan of the company, that it is going to launch more than 400 additional satellites to the polar inclination by the end of 2025 alone. And the first of these satellites
Stage 2 FPS
have begun to
safe.
serve the Alaskan users already. So these are the visuals, the SpaceX Falcon 9 rocket at after the launch from the Vandenberg Space Force Base in California. And remember, this is happening as SpaceX is
Stage 1
preparing
landing burn.
for
Stage 2 terminal guidance.
the launch of the satellites into the polar orbit. And the idea is to add another 24 satellites into the company's mega constellation,
Stage 1 landing leg deployed.
consisting of more than 7,900 satellites on the orbit. So the liftoff happened from the Space Launch Complex 4 East at the
Stage 1
Vandenberg
landing confirmed.
Space Force Base in California. The Falcon 9 first stage booster, that is the rocket that is being used for this mission. It will launch for the 14th
And back
time.
shutdown.
It has done previous missions as well. And this is the 14th time.
Nominal park orbit insertion.
And if successful, this will be the 141st booster landing on this vessel. So SpaceX is planning to launch more than 400 additional satellites to the polar inclination by the end of this year. And this will add more than double to the capacity for the Alaskan customers. All right, so a big mission there by the SpaceX, launch of 24 Starlink satellites into the polar orbit on Falcon 9 rocket from California.
Bharat 1 Minute brought to you by Canara Bank. Together we can.
In more news from across the nation, the counter-intelligence Kashmir unit of Jammu and Kashmir Police conducted searches at 10 locations across 4 districts in the valley. The raids are part of an ongoing investigation into a terror crime case linked to a terrorist sleeper cell and recruitment module handed by Jaish terrorist Abdullah Ghazi from across the border. The searches took place at one location in Pulwama, 6 in Ganderbal, 1 in Srinagar and 2 in Budgam district. The Odisha Excise Department's AIAB Central Unit in Cuttack, led by the Excise Commissioner, dismantled a ring manufacturing fake liquor. The 2 accused were brought to the Cuttack Excise Head Office for investigation. The operation resulted in the seizure of more than 6,000 litres of spurious alcohol, and Odisha Excise Commissioner Dharmendra Malik stated that the total estimated market value of the seized stock is around 77 lakh rupees. The Punjab Police have detained 24-year-old software engineer Shubham Dubey from Faridabad in connection with a series of bomb threat emails sent to the Golden Temple Committee targeting the Golden Temple in Amritsar. Since 14th of July, authorities received at least 6 emails warning of RDX blasts, prompting heightened security, sniffer dog sweeps and the deployment of bombs disposal squads around the shrine. Dubey's laptop and mobile phones have been seized and are undergoing forensic analysis. Amritsar Police Commissioner called the arrest as a partial success, while Punjab Chief Minister Bhagwant Mann urged calm and fast-track the investigation. All right, big breaking news coming in now from Jammu and Kashmir, where counter-intelligence team of the Jammu and Kashmir Police has conducted searches at various locations across the Kashmir Valley. The searches were conducted at 10 locations across the Kashmir Valley, and these locations include 1 in Pulwama, 6 in Ganderbal, 1 in Srinagar and 2 in Budgam. So big searches there by the counter-intelligence Kashmir at 10 locations. So let's get all the updates from our colleague Zeenat, who's joining us live from the Kashmir Valley. Zeenat, we understand that this is a very significant operation by the CIK, these searches to locate terrorist sleeper cells and recruitment modules. Tell us more.
We have been seeing since morning the team of the CIK, which is a counter-intelligence Kashmir, and is a part of Jammu and Kashmir Police. They've been carrying the searches since morning in 10 locations, and the locations that were touched today come from the South Kashmir's Pulwama district. Then they also touched Central Kashmir's Badgam, Srinagar, and simultaneously Ganderbal district was touched. These all people who have been raided today, or the searches were carried. Somehow the police is investigating the case, which is registered under FIR, a particular FIR in the police station. And now what the police is trying to unreveal is that how these modules are working on the ground, because the one who is actually operating this module sits across the border. He is identified as Abdullah Ghazi, and he's been operating from there. He's a part of the Jaish-e-Mohammed module, and here in the Kashmir Valley, through his connections, he is into the radicalization and providing the transport and the logistic support to the terror networks. So today, a complete clampdown was seen in the 10 locations where the people who were questioned, the digital evidences were seized, and mobile phones were also seized during these raids, because it's only to see that the oxygen that is being provided to the terror network, how that oxygen can be taken out, and how this organization can turn dead so that nobody, no common man is affected on the ground. You see the Jaish-e-Mohammed rule in past, or the way they have been carrying the terror strikes in the Jammu and Kashmir, in which number of people lost their lives, the security people and also the migrant workers. Now, what the police is doing, there is an FIR registered in the police station against these people, and they have been searching, because investigations shows that these two people who have been searched today, they have some links, one or the other way, links with the Jaish-e-Mohammed, Abdullah Ghazi, who sits across the border today. The searches are being carried, how these modules actually work, how they try to radicalize people, the people who are actually the part of the Jaish-e-Mohammed, how this kind of module helps them. This is more like a sleeper cell that works for the benefit of the Jaish-e-Mohammed, and they are into the international activities, and for which the searches were carried since morning. In fact, multiple locations were searched from South Kashmir to Central Kashmir in the Kashmir Valley.
And Zeenat, these searches are also highlighting the way this digital actually ways are being used by terrorists from across the border, because as you were mentioning earlier, technical signatures were found, and these were the leads that really led to the CIK to conduct searches at these locations. So this is a very important case of how technology is playing a part, and how the cyber cell of the security agencies are working hard to unearth these terrorists.
See, when we see the technology or the cyber cells that have been working for these kind of modules, because there is no doubt that the social media has played role in radicalizing the Kashmiri youth. Earlier, what used to happen, that you would get people at a particular place, they would get assembled, they would be taught in certain way. But now you are staying in your room, and use with the help of the technology, you can learn many things, and you can read multiple literatures that are available. Although there have been banned on multiple sites by the Jammu and Kashmir, which cannot be accessed, but still there are multiple ways like that, like the social media apps that are used by the terrorists to spread that kind of literature they want to radicalize the youngsters. Although the number of recruitment has come heavily down as far as the Kashmiri youth terror ranks is concerned, and that is why we see that Pakistan has tried to push more number of the foreign terrorists or the Pakistani terrorists into the Kashmir Valley, because we have seen in multiple encounters where the Pak nationals were neutralized by Indian Army along with the Jammu and Kashmir Police and the other security wings. That only tells you that the Kashmiri youth, post-abrogation of Article 370, we have seen the numbers have drastically reduced. That tells you that they are no more into the terror business, but still the links that are there, the roots that are there in the ground, they do help these terror organizations, be it the Jaish-e-Mohammed, Lashkar, PRF, though yesterday only we witnessed that how the clampdown had come from the US government as far as the TRF, the Resistance Front, is concerned, because these organizations, despite having the multiple names, they work under one umbrella where the common agenda is to create more fear on the ground, to disturb the situation on ground, to target the migrants or the Kashmiri Pandit social or the security forces. But meanwhile, we have also seen in the past the multiple anti-terror operations in which these terrorists were neutralized, the kind of raids that have been carried by the J&K Police, the CIK, SI, NI, ED, that has definitely curbed or choked the lines of the funding and also have helped to get the draft of terror recruitment calmed down.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for those details there, Zeenat. You keep tracking those details. We'll keep coming back to you. And viewers, let's move on. We have big breaking news coming in from Patna, where in the gang war case, now police have arrested 5 people in Bengal. The Patna police had interrogated Sheru, who is lodged in Bengal jail, and the killers were on the loose after gunning down gangster Chandan Mishra in Patna's Paras hospital. So remember, on the morning of 17th of July, 5 armed men entered the Paras hospital in Patna. They shot dead Chandan Mishra, who is a gangster who was on parole, who was undergoing a treatment in the hospital in the ICU. And the CCTV footage clearly showed the assailants calmly just walking inside the hospital, firing at a close range and then escaping all in about 30 seconds. Let's get all the updates. Our colleague Prakash is now joining us live from Patna for more details. Prakash, we understand that there are 5 people now who have been arrested and they have connections. They have been arrested from West Bengal. Just give us more details on the people who've been arrested and the Bengal connection here.
Well, these 5 people have been arrested by the Patna police and the Bihar STF. They all belong to the Sheru gang, and Tausif alias Badshah is also been arrested, who is the main gangster and one of the main shooters in the Patna gang war case. And the shooters apparently had fled to Gaya in Bihar and via Jharkhand had moved to Bengal, where Sheru, who was a part of the gang of Chandan Mishra, and after that, after a few years in 2013-14, they had animosity, and his gang only shot Chandan Mishra in Paras hospital. Now we get to know that all these 5 arrested people would be produced in the court in Bengal and thereafter would be brought to Patna, and more investigations would be done as far as the gang war is concerned, specifically with the Paras hospital security in charge as well. So the update is that 5 people have been arrested in Bengal by the Patna police and the Bihar STF, as well as in collaboration with the Bengal police, and all these 5 people would be soon brought to Patna after the production in the Bengal court.
All right. Also, just give us more details of how these what is the Bengal connection in the case, considering the fact that, in the CCTV footage, it was clearly seen how these assailants just walked inside the hospital and they had no fear of, they just calmly walked inside, they fired from a close range. Has the identities of these assailants been ascertained? All right, we'll try to connect with our reporter in our subsequent bulletins for more on that story. Meanwhile, let's move on, viewers. We have big breaking news coming in from Noida. Now, this is where a private university's BDS student has been found dead. Now, a suicide note alleges a harassment by professors, and there was a student protest following the BDS student's suicide. And the students are accusing police and the university of inaction. So what happened was that Jyoti, the second year BDS student of a private university in Greater Noida, committed suicide in a room on the 12th floor of the girls' hostel. And a suicide note was also found near Jyoti's body, in which she accused 2 of her professors and the management of mental harassment and giving her mental stress for a long time. The police have detained some people from the university and are investigating the matter. The students of the university meanwhile say that mental pressure is put on the students, and Jyoti was accused of signing a fake document, due to which she was very upset. And the students have also accused the police of negligence, due to which there was a heated argument between the students and the police, and this created a lot of ruckus. Let's listen in to some of the students of the university.
सब बच्चे रो रहे थे तो मैंने उससे पूछा है, तो उसके बाद मुझे पता चला है। और फिर जो भी सीन हुआ है, फिर मैं उसके मम्मी पापा के साथ थी। मैं हॉस्पिटल गई हूँ, मैंने उसकी पूरी बॉडी देखी है कि उसके पास, मैंने उसका पूरा फंदा देखा है कि वो ऐसे डेड बॉडी लेटी हुई थी, और उसको मतलब ठंडे उसके पैर थे और नाखून पूरा नीला पड़ा हुआ था। मैंने खुद देखा है। उसकी मम्मी को मैं ही संभाल रही थी हर समय, लेकिन वार्डन का कोई रिस्पॉन्स नहीं था। चार्ज का कुछ सिक्योरिटी नहीं अच्छा है, ना खाना अच्छा है, ना कुछ अच्छा है। बॉडी भी उसकी ऐसे लपेट पे ले गई है।
शारदा यूनिवर्सिटी के हॉस्टल में एक छात्रा ने फांसी लगाकर सुसाइड कर लिया है। इस सूचना पर तत्काल पुलिस मौके पर पहुंची तथा पंचायतनामा की कार्रवाई की। परिजन मौके पर आ गए हैं। परिजनों द्वारा दी गई तहरीर के आधार पर सुसंगत धाराओं में मुकदमा पंजीकृत किया गया है तथा आरोपी 2 व्यक्तियों को पूछताछ से हिरासत में लिया गया है। छात्रों का शारदा यूनिवर्सिटी के प्रशासन पर काफ़ी आक्रोश था, जिन्हें समझा बुझाकर शांत कर दिया गया है। मौके पर शांति व्यवस्था कायम है। अग्रिम विधिक कार्रवाई प्रचलित है।
All right, let's get all the updates. Akhil, my colleague, is now joining us live from the Delhi NCR for more on this. Akhil, what are the details emerging in the case that, there are a few people who were detained last night? Give us more information about the FIR. What does the FIR say? And also, how's the environment in the university right now? Are the classes being held normally or not?
Well, absolutely. If you see, a shocking incident has come to light from Greater Noida's at a private university campus, when a student, a BDS second-year student, has committed suicide. And in this case, what we have learned that due to the mental pressure, she has committed suicide. And we have recovered that suicide note from the very spot. And in that, if you see, and I quote, the deceased has basically written that if I die, the teachers of dental college will be held responsible. And the second thing she had mentioned in that suicide note, that, and I quote, I want them to be behind the bars. They mentally harassed me, they humiliated me, and I have been in stress because of them for a very long time. I want them to face the same thing. I am sorry, I can't live like this anymore. This is what she has written in the suicide notes. And if you see what we have been learning from the police sources, that is, so far the police team, the Gautam Budh Nagar police team, has detained 2 persons in connection with the case. And if you just see the suicide note, what we are learning that 2 persons have been named in this suicide note. Both of them are faculty members. One is a male faculty member, second one is a female faculty member. So both of them have been made accused by the person Jyoti who committed suicide on the 12th floor of that very hostel at a private university. So right now the investigation is underway and the legal proceedings are going on in connection with the case.
All right, Akhil, thank you so much for those details. But you stay with us because we need to get some more details from you on the other story as well. Stay with us right now. Viewers, we'll take a very short break, but coming up ahead, after the phenomenal success of the first edition, in a few hours from now, the second edition of the Nationalist Collective Conclave will be live. Stay tuned. And a ringside seat to the biggest conclave on nationalism, an unprecedented opportunity for 100 Nationalist Collective members to be a part of Republic's Nationalist Collective Conclave. All the details and much more after a short break.
साथ जीरा सिप जल जीरा मसाला। सिप सिप जीरा सिप जीरा सिप इंडिया का जल जीरा सिप इंडिया का जल जीरा सिप। भारत की अपनी दुकान इंडिया सोना, अपने देश का सामान इंडिया सोना, इंडिया सोना, इंडिया सोना। MDH की हल्दी मिर्ची धनिया करे कमाल, ये रंग दे, ये खुशबू दे, ये तीखा, ये कम पड़े, क्या निराला MDH मसाला।
Welcome back after the break, and viewers, we have big breaking news coming in from the national capital, where the Delhi police has arrested Bangladeshi who are living illegally in India. Delhi police arrested 3 Bangladeshi citizens arrested under a secret operation during the midnight of 14th and 15th of July. Also, people helping these Bangladeshis and showing them the way to India are also being identified and are being searched with the help of human intelligence and technical surveillance to catch them. Let's get all the updates. Akhil, my colleague, is now joining us from the national capital. Akhil, 3 Bangladeshis have been arrested and the police is also on the trail for those who are assisting these illegal people who are in our country. Give us more details.
Well, absolutely. If you see another major crackdown on the illegal Bangladeshis living in the national capital, what we have seen that this district police team has nabbed 3 persons. And initially, when the Delhi police team interrogated them and asked them to show their proofs, they were not able to produce any identification card. And during the sustained interrogation, Delhi police, this district team has identified that they are from Bangladesh, and they basically came to India through the donkey route. So right now, their interrogation is on, and the information that we have received from the DCP of the West District, Mr. Vichitra Veer, and he has confirmed this, that so far 3 persons have been detained, and right now through the process of FRRO, the deportation has already begun in connection with the case. Back to you.
All right, Akhil, thank you so much for those details there. And viewers, moving on, US President Donald Trump has once again reiterated that the US had a big role in brokering the truce between several countries which were on the brink of war in recent days. Now, Donald Trump specifically mentioned the military confrontation between India and Pakistan, asserting that the US cautioned the 2 nations over trade deals to ensure peace in the region. Here is a 1-minute report.
Something I'm very proud of. We stopped a lot of wars, and these were serious wars that would have been going on right now. You had India, Pakistan, that was going, in fact, planes were being shot out of there. 4 or 5, but I think 5 jets were shot down, actually, and Lindsay, that was getting worse and worse, wasn't it? Huh? That was looking like it was going to go. These are 2 serious nuclear countries, and they were hitting each other. You know, it seems like a new form of warfare. You saw it recently when you looked at what we did in Iran, where we knocked out their nuclear capability, totally knocked out. That's going to be gone for a long time. But there seems to be a hit and then another hit, a hit and another hit. It's a different thing. But India and Pakistan were going at it, and they were back and forth, and it was getting bigger and bigger, and we got it solved through trade. We said, you guys want to make a trade deal? We're not making a trade deal if you're going to be throwing around weapons and maybe nuclear weapons, both very powerful nuclear states.
Viewers, after the phenomenal success of the first edition, in a few hours from now, the second edition of the Nationalist Collective Conclave will be live. So stay tuned.
MDH की देगी मिर्च,
देगी मिर्च का तड़का, अंग अंग फड़का।
MDH की देगी मिर्च।
हर पल मनाओ केसरी त्योहार। विमल, बोलो जुबान केसरी।
MDH की हल्दी मिर्ची धनिया करे कमाल, ये रंग दे, ये खुशबू दे, ये तीखा, ये कम पड़े, क्या निराला MDH मसाला।
We've launched the Nationalist Collective is because we believe it is time now for a group of ideologically driven Indians to drive the destiny of our country. For far too long, people who have had interests inimical to national interest have held sway. We need to put nationalism first, nation first. The Nationalist Collective is a very clear and sharp movement, presents the spirit of a new India which stands by what is right, does what is right, and raises its voice for what is right. Remember, this country is safe only if it is in the hands of nationalists. This country will grow only if nation first becomes our principal motto, where the only ism that matters is nationalism. Join the Nationalist Collective. It is going to be the largest non-political movement in this country.
From Asia's largest news headquarters, setting the agenda for Bharat. You're watching Republic.
Hello and welcome. You're watching Live and Breaking at 10 a.m. I'm Tanisha Avasthi. We are building up to the Nationalist Collective Conclave at 11 a.m. sharp. Remember, this is the second edition. We also have many more national stories lined up for you on this edition. But first, a quick check of the headlines. After the phenomenal success of first edition, in a few hours from now, the second edition of the Nationalist Conclave will be live. Stay tuned. A ringside seat to the biggest conclave on nationalism, an unprecedented opportunity for 100 Nationalist Collective members to be a part of Republic's Nationalist Collective Conclave. After United States labels TRF as global terror outfit, China calls for stronger regional anti-terror cooperation and strongly condemns the Pahalgam terror attack. Jammu and Kashmir Police intensify search operations across the valley. 10 locations searched by Jammu and Kashmir's counter-intelligence officials. Encounter underway with Maoists in Chhattisgarh. 6 Maoists killed, large number of weapons recovered. SpaceX Falcon 9 rocket launches 24 Starlink satellites to polar orbit from California. Starting this edition with some big breaking news that's coming in. This is in regard with the gang war that happened in a Patna hospital, where 5 accused walked into a hospital in Patna, the Paras hospital in Patna, openly brandished guns and were seen celebrating it just moments after. These visuals on your screen, viewers, are of those 5 accused who have now been arrested. Remember, they were arrested from West Bengal. They were arrested from West Bengal in a midnight operation. All the 5 accused have now been caught. And those are exclusive visuals that our Bangla team has got it for Republic. First visuals of the 5 accused in the Patna hospital being nabbed by the Bihar police. It was a joint operation by the Bihar and the Bengal police, where the accused who wielded guns, brandished guns inside the hospital in Patna, have been nabbed in the state of West Bengal. It was an operation that was carried out late at night in the Patna gang war case. Patna police have arrested 5 people in Bengal. The police had interrogated Sheru, who is lodged in the Bengal jail. The killers were on the loose after gunning down gangster Chandan Mishra in Patna's Paras hospital. We'll try and see if we can get Prakash on the phone line on that operation, because initial details that are just coming in is of the 5 accused being nabbed in the state of West Bengal. Prakash, my colleague, is joining me live on that note. Prakash, talk to us about how the operation was carried out. How was the tip-off received, after which the 5 accused were nabbed?
Well, the 5 accused have been nabbed on a tip-off from Seru, who is lodged in Purulia jail. and this is a joint operation of the Bihar STF as well as the Patna Police. And Tausif alias Badshah, who is one of the main shooters among the 5 shooters who had killed Chandan Mishra in Paras Hospital, room number 209, day before yesterday. They had fled away from via Gaya through Jharkhand in Bengal. Now we get to know that 5 people have been arrested in Calcutta, Newtown, and of these 5 people, my sources say that 2 of them probably are the shooters, but the police sources say that none of them are shooters. They are just one of the informers or associates associated with the shooters. Patna police will unravel all the details in late in the afternoon after all these 5 people are produced in the court in Calcutta and thereafter brought back to Patna. Remember, Chandan Mishra and Sheru were also part of the same gang, and they fell apart in 2013-14, and Chandan Mishra was lodged in Patna Beur jail and was out on parole, and the shooters of Sheru apparently shot him dead. Back to you.
Was about what's the further course of interrogation that will be carried out as far as the 5 accused who have been arrested in the case is concerned. Do we have any more details if there were more people involved in the firing? All right, we seem to have lost that connection with Prakash, but these are the first live and exclusive visuals that Republic Bangla is getting to you. Remember, the arrest of the Patna goons was made in the state of West Bengal. The first visuals of the same are on your screen. These are the same goons who opened fire in a Patna hospital, after which they have been arrested in Bengal. So we have 2 contrasting visuals with us, wherein in a hospital in Patna, the Paras hospital in Patna, the goons had opened fire, after which they had fled from the scene. 48 hours after that, they were caught in the state of West Bengal. Those exclusive visuals of police nabbing the 5 accused who were seen openly brandishing guns inside the hospital are on your screens right now. These exclusive visuals are of from West Bengal. Remember, the accused were caught after 48 hours after the incident happened. Yesterday, we got another CCTV footage exclusively which showed how the goons were seen celebrating soon after the shootout. So 2 contrasting visuals on your screen right now. One from Patna and the other from the state of West Bengal. The crime that happened in Patna, in a hospital in Patna, where, as you see on your screen, 5 accused entering a hospital room, openly brandishing gun and killing 1 patient who's also a gang member leader. On the second window, you see the 5 accused who are seen in the first video openly brandishing guns and shooting out a patient have now been caught in the state of West Bengal. Exclusive visuals got to us by Republic Bangla. Moving on to some other stories that we're tracking, Prime Minister Narendra Modi was on a visit to West Bengal while addressing a gathering in Durgapur. He took a sharp dig at the TMC-led state government. The Prime Minister also made an appeal to the people of West Bengal, asking them for an opportunity to bring a change. Here's all that you need to know about this.
आज हर कोई कह रहा है टीएमसी हटाओ, बंगाल बचाओ। टीएमसी हटाओ।
The West Bengal Assembly elections are on the horizon. In less than a year, the state will go for polling. Prime Minister Modi, on his visit to West Bengal's Durgapur, launched an attack on Mamata Banerjee's TMC government. From employment to economy, from communal violence to increasing crime rates, Modi took a dig at TMC in all the ways possible.
पश्चिम बंगाल में अस्पताल भी बेटियों के लिए सुरक्षित नहीं है और आप सबने देखा है जब यहां डॉक्टर बेटी के साथ अत्याचार हुआ तो कैसे टीएमसी सरकार अपराधियों को बचाने में जुट गई। इस घटना से देश अभी बाहर निकला भी नहीं था कि एक और कॉलेज में एक बेटी के साथ भयंकर अत्याचार किया गया। इसमें भी जो आरोपी है उनका कनेक्शन टीएमसी से निकला है। टीएमसी के बड़े नेता, मंत्री आरोपियों के बजाय पीड़ित को ही दोषी ठहराते रहे। ऐसे कई उदाहरण हैं जो टीएमसी की निर्ममता के साक्षी है।
He also reiterated the fact that once people used to come to West Bengal seeking employment and now locals are being forced to leave the state. Gunda tax is scaring new companies from coming to West Bengal, Modi added. Prime Minister Modi also emphasized on the infiltration happening in the state and how it's not only unsafe but also against the glory of Bengal. Giving a Parivartan call, Prime Minister Modi said that the day the TMC government falls, only then there will be real development in the state.
मेक इन इंडिया को गति देने के लिए, मिशन मैन्युफैक्चरिंग में तेजी लाने के लिए पश्चिम बंगाल के पास हर शक्ति मौजूद है। बस यहां की टीएमसी सरकार बंगाल के विकास के आगे दीवार बनकर खड़ी है। जिस दिन टीएमसी सरकार की दीवार बंगाल में गिरी, उसी दिन से बंगाल विकास की नई तेजी पकड़ लेगा। टीएमसी की सरकार जाएगी तभी असली परिवर्तन आएगा। टीएमसी जावे तबे আসল পরিবর্তন আসবে।
Besides the political attacks, in a mega infrastructure push, Prime Minister unveiled Rs 5,400 crore development projects in Bengal.
Shifting our focus to some other news that's just coming in, and it is about the Aircraft Investigation Bureau's report on the AI-171 plane crash investigation. Now, the United States probe agency, the National Transportation on Safety Board Chief Jennifer Homendy, issued a statement on the United States media reports on Air India probe report. She said that the recent media reports on the Air India 171 crash are premature and speculative. India's Aircraft Accident Investigation Bureau just released its preliminary report, and that investigation of this magnitude take time. They also added that they fully support the AAIB's public appeal, which was released on Thursday, and will continue to support its ongoing investigation. All right, so that's the latest breaking news that we are getting in. It is the United States probe agency, National Transportation Safety Board, who has now come out in support of India, saying that the AAIB's report was preliminary and that these agencies take time with such a huge crash that took place in India, and to make speculations on them was completely unacceptable. The head of the United States National Transportation Safety Board said it's too soon to draw conclusions about what caused the delay of the crash, and that's the latest that we are getting in as far as the AAIB's report is concerned. Joining us on the broadcast is Group Captain GP Bajpai. He is a retired IAF officer, also a former flight safety consultant with Air India. Bajpai, sir, thank you very much for speaking to Republic today. This report that has come out has created ripples across the world, from the WSJ questioning the Indian pilots to now DGCA and the AAIB completely going on a silent mode. What is your take on it?
Madam, good morning to you and millions of your viewers. I agree to this latest statement given by the US authorities. Basically, they are right in saying so that this was a prelim report, and for final outcome, we must wait for the full investigation and its subsequent report. However, since the beginning, I have maintained that the cause, as per the prelim report, everything was normal till the time aircraft took off, and 3 seconds after, when the fuel cutoff switch got transitioned from the run to cutoff position, after that only both the engine RPM N1 and N2 started winding down as the fuel supply to the engine got cut off. And immediately after 5 seconds, the fuel, the RAM rat got deployed. All this thing was in order. Subsequently, one pilot has told to another pilot, why did you cut off? So he might have seen that action, or it was totally unusual. He did not ask anything else except this thing. And all these things have been listed in the prelim report. That must be based on the DFDR recordings and the CVR recordings. I am very sure the investigating committee must have heard these things time and again. After that only they have penned it down in their prelim report, as well as the people associated with the investigating agency must be very mature, sincere and accountable, because the final report, I am very sure, should be coming on these lines only. This is my personal opinion on the subject. Moreover, the digital evidences, these two equipment, SSCVR and the DFDR in any commercial aircrafts are installed for this sole purpose, for the purpose of investigation of accident and incident, and they can't lie around. The human evidences, the hearsay evidences could be falsified, but these digital evidences will remain intact and common. So, in my opinion, it is the human intervention inside the cockpit after 3 seconds of successful aircraft taking off from Ahmedabad. So, I am also in agreement that we should wait for final outcome.
Right. Group Captain Bajpai, one more question before I let you go. You have been a former flight safety consultant with Air India. And all of these questions, be it about the US Daily, the Wall Street Journal raising questions on our pilots, or be it any other media, in fact in India as well, so many people raising questions on our pilot. Why is it that Air India is silent? It is about their pilots. They are queuing mum over people who are going on and blaming their pilots. In fact, the DGCA is silent. The AAIB is silent, who in fact put out a report, and leaks after leaks. Why is it that nobody is coming out, especially these agencies who are responsible for saving the image of the pilots and to defend their pilots? Why are they going all silent today?
Ma'am, I am in full agreement with you. As far as the Air India is concerned, they should come out because if I remember correctly, their chairman had said in the beginning post-accident that this investigation will be in transparent manner. They should come out and give the press release time and again, so that not only the confidence of the pilots, but all people associated with the aviation and also the passengers' faith and confidence in Air India could be restored. As far as the AIB is concerned, they are maintaining silence could be understood because they are in the process of investigation. Till the time they have already given the prelim report, till the time the investigation is completed, they should not come out in the bits and pieces. And the DGCA also should give the press release on whenever these comments are being given by foreign media or the foreign aviation authorities. They should give their opinion also on the subject, so that it will restore the confidence of our countrymen. I am in full agreement with you.
Right, sir. Group Captain Bajpai, thank you very much on that note for joining us here today early in the morning and speaking to us and sharing your views on that. With that, we move on to some other stories that we are tracking. This is Bharat in 1 minute. 6 Maoists were killed in a fierce encounter with security forces in Chhattisgarh's Narayanpur district on Friday. Acting on intelligence inputs, a joint team of District Reserve Guard and ITBP launched an operation in the Abujmad forest region. Several heavy weapons, including rifles and explosives, were recovered from the site. Search operations are still underway to clear the dense jungle terrain. Pakistan has extended its airspace ban on Indian flights until August 24. The Indian airspace is also closed to all Pakistani aircraft till July 24 after a ban was imposed first on April 30 as a part of measures taken by the Indian government against Pakistan in the wake of the Pahalgam terror attack that killed 26 people on the April 22nd. Congress leaders will lead a protest march from the party headquarters to the Divisional Commissioner's office in Srinagar today. The demonstration aims to pressure the central government into presenting legislation in the upcoming monsoon session to restore Jammu and Kashmir's statehood. Congress leader and former Chhattisgarh Chief Minister Bhupesh Bagel's son Chaitanya Bagel has been sent to 5-day of the Enforcement Directorate custody by a special PMLA court in Raipur. He was arrested on Friday in connection with a liquor scam-linked money laundering case. Take a look at this detailed report.
The Enforcement Directorate secured a 5-day custodial remand of Chaitanya Bagel, son of former Chhattisgarh CM Bhupesh Bagel. This comes following his arrest in connection with an alleged money laundering case tied to 2 states of Rs 2,100 crore liquor scam. Chaitanya was produced before a special court in Raipur, where ED officials cited fresh evidence obtained during recent raids at the Bagel residence in Bhilai, Durg district. The arrest, which coincided with Chaitanya's birthday and the final day of the monsoon session of the Chhattisgarh Assembly, triggered a wave of backlash.
2022 से जिस प्रकरण में जांच चल रही थी, उस प्रकरण में आज लगभग 4 परिवाद पेश हो चुके हैं। मुख्य परिवाद के बाद 3 पूरक परिवाद पेश हुए हैं। उसमें उन परिवादों में आज तक चैतन्य बघेल जी को एक भी सम्मन्स नहीं मिला था कि आप आइए और बयान दीजिए। चैतन्य बघेल जी से जो उनकी डिवाइसेज, उनके कंप्यूटर, उनके लैपटॉप, उनके फोन मांगे गए थे, उन्होंने उनको ईडी को उपलब्ध कराया था, मगर आज बिना सम्मन्स दिए, बिना कोई पूछताछ किए, आज ईडी उनके जो जन्मदिन का दिन जब वो अपने मंदिर में, घर के मंदिर में पूजा कर रहे थे, उस मंदिर में जाके उनको लाके आज यहाँ कोर्ट में पेश किया है।
Responding to ED's actions against Chaitanya, Bhupesh Bagel slammed the raids and said the centre is misusing the probe agencies to target opposition leaders.
हमारे घर में ईडी का छापा पड़ा। 15 दिन बाद 26 मार्च को सीबीआई का छापा डाला और 10 मार्च से लेके आज 18 जुलाई जब मेरे लड़के का जन्मदिन है, उस दिन तक एक भी नोटिस नहीं, कोई पूछताछ नहीं और आज सीधी गिरफ्तारी। तो ये सीधी बात ये है कि अडानी के खिलाफ कांग्रेस पार्टी ने काम किया, हम सारे विधायक तमनार गए, इसके कारण से ये कार्रवाई की गई।
Soon after the raid and subsequent arrest, senior Congress leaders gathered at Bhupesh Bagel's residence for an emergency meeting, while party workers staged protest outside ED office in Raipur. Leader of opposition Charan Das Mahant led a walkout from the assembly, declaring that the Congress would not be cowed by what he described as a tactical intimidation.
हम सब लोगों ने आज की पूरी कार्रवाई का विरोध किया है। हमारे सब साथी एकजुट है, एक साथ है, सबने एक मत होकर के आज के कार्रवाई का विरोध किया है।
Earlier in the day, the ED conducted a fresh raid at the Bhilai residence of the Baghels, intensifying its investigation into an alleged multi-crore scam. A team of approximately 12 ED officials, accompanied by a heavy contingent of CRPF personnel, arrived at the Baghels residence in Durg district on Friday morning. This marked the second such raid in 6 months against the Congress leader and his family. According to ED, The alleged scam operated between 2019 and 2022 under the Baghel-led government, including a parallel excise network run by bureaucrats and private contractors. His arrest adds to a growing list of high-profile detentions in the case, which has already ensnared former ministers, senior bureaucrats and businessmen.
Let's now get to other stories that are making international headlines. Donald Trump has once again reiterated that the United States had a big role in brokering the truce between several countries which were on the brink of a war in recent days. Donald Trump specifically mentioned the military confrontation between India and Pakistan, asserting that the United States cautioned the two nations over the trade deals to ensure peace in the region.
Something I'm very proud of. We stopped a lot of wars. India, Pakistan, that was going. In fact, planes were being shot out of there. Four or five, but I think 5 jets were shot down, actually. And Lindsay, that was getting worse and worse, wasn't it? That was looking like it was going to go. These are two serious nuclear countries, and they were hitting each other. You know, it seems like a new form of warfare. You saw it recently when you looked at what we did in Iran, where we knocked out their nuclear capability, totally knocked out. That's going to be gone for a long time. But there seems to be a hit and then another hit, a hit and another hit. It's a different thing. But India and Pakistan were going at it, and they were back and forth, and it was getting bigger and bigger, and we got it solved through trade. We said, you guys want to make a trade deal? We're not making a trade deal if you're going to be throwing around weapons, and maybe nuclear weapons, both very powerful nuclear states.
It's time for us to slip into a short break, or after the break, the big build-up to the second edition of the Nationalist Collective Conclave. The biggest non-political forum and an unprecedented opportunity for all the Nationalist Collective to be here on the Republic Media Network campus.
इसको घर पे लगाओगे तो शादी का तो पता नहीं, पर घर पक्का नहीं टूटेगा।
रुंगटा नहीं तो घर स्ट्रॉन्ग नहीं। रुंगटा स्टील TMT बार एकदम सॉलिड।
पहाड़ों में एक हाइकिंग स्टिक भी बन सकती है।
आधे बाउल दही में 4 चम्मच MDH चटनी पुदीना मसाला डाला, स्टर करो, पुदीना चटनी तैयार। MDH चटनी पुदीना मसाला। MDH।
Hello and welcome, ladies and gentlemen. You're watching live and breaking at 10:30 a.m. I am Tanisha Avasthi. In just some moments from now, 11 a.m. to be precise, Republic Media Network will be hosting the second edition of the Nationalist Collective Conclave. And this is going to be the biggest non-political forum for every nationalist. And the only agenda here is nation first. We're building up to that big conclave. But first, a quick check of the headlines that we're tracking at 10:30 a.m. this morning. After the phenomenal success of the first edition, in a few hours from now, the second edition of the Nationalist Collective Conclave will be live. Stay tuned. A ringside seat to the biggest conclave on nationalism, an unprecedented opportunity for 100 Nationalist Collective members to be a part of Republic's Nationalist Collective Conclave. After United States labels TRF as global terror outfit, China calls for stronger regional anti-terror cooperation and strongly condemns the Pahalgam terror attack. US probe agency National Transportation on Safety Board calls Air India 171 crash reports premature and speculative, says it's fully support AAIB's ongoing investigation. Patna police arrest 5 people in Bengal in the Paras hospital shootout case. Falcon 9 rocket launches 24 Starlink satellites to polar orbit from California. Starting this edition with breaking news that's coming in from Uttar Pradesh in Noida, where a private university student has been found dead. Suicide note has alleged harassment by professor. The students have now been protesting following the girl's death. Accused of police and university of inaction is what the victim had alleged before committing suicide. Her name was Jyoti. She was a second-year BDS student on a private university in Greater Noida. She committed suicide in her room on the 12th floor of the girls' hostel. A suicide note was also found near Jyoti's dead body, in which she has accused the two of a professor and the management of mental harassment and giving her mental stress for a long time. The police have detained some people from the university and are investigating the matter. The students of the university say that mental pressure is put on students, and Jyoti was accused of signing a fake document. In fact, Akhil is just speaking to the family of the victim. Let's listen in what they have to say.
क्या लिया है जी? जो कॉलेज जो गेट था हॉस्टल का, उसका गेट खुला हुआ था। बच्ची के आसपास कुछ भी हैंगिंग के लिए था ही नहीं, तो पुलिस हत्या की जगह उस पे हैंगिंग वाला आत्महत्या का मामला लगा रही। लेकिन आप कार्रवाई किस तरह कर रहे हैं? कार्रवाई आप यूनिवर्सिटी के खिलाफ भी करिए। जो यूनिवर्सिटी के टीचर हैं, डीन है, जो भी हैं, वो यूनिवर्सिटी की नौकरी कर रहे हैं। क्या यूनिवर्सिटी उनसे कहता है बच्चों को टॉर्चर कीजिए, बच्चों का हरेसमेंट कीजिए?
आपकी डिमांड ये है कि जो टीचर्स हैं उनको सस्पेंड किया जाए? क्या
टीचर
हमारी सस्पेंड की किसी भी प्रकार की कोई मांग नहीं है। हम केवल सस्पेंड से रुकने वाले लोग हैं।
आप जो है वो विक्टिम की मां है, क्या कह रही है बताइए?
मुझे मेरी बेटी ने जो 5 लोगों ने मारा है, मुझे फांसी की सजा चाहिए। उन बंदों को जब तक फांसी नहीं होगी तब तक मैं नहीं हिलूंगी, ना मैं अपनी बेटी लेके जाऊंगी। मुझे यहाँ पे इंसाफ चाहिए।
टीचर्स के साथ साथ इस यूनिवर्सिटी पर भी कार्रवाई होनी चाहिए। भाई बिना यूनिवर्सिटी की सह के कोई भी टीचर उसकी हिम्मत नहीं होगी ऐसे कर देगा। दूसरी बात, जब यूनिवर्सिटी में अब से पहले भी 2-3 प्रकरण ऐसे हुए, इस यूनिवर्सिटी पर जांच बैठानी चाहिए। प्रदेश सरकार को इसकी जांच करनी चाहिए कि ऐसा यहाँ होता क्यों है। क्या बच्चे मरने के लिए यहाँ भेज?
इससे पहले पिछला इंसिडेंट कब हुआ था यहाँ?
लगभग आंटी कब हुआ था? 2 साल पहले हुआ था। अभी बराबर के कॉलेज में, एक जिम्स कॉलेज, 3 महीने पहले एक लड़का इसी टॉर्चर के कारण वहाँ भी सुसाइड।
आप इस कॉलेज के अंदर किस डिपार्टमेंट में स्टूडेंट हैं?
हम यहाँ नहीं हैं, हम बाहर से आ रहे हैं। हम छात्र संगठन से हैं। हम माँ के लिए लखनऊ हमारा कल प्रस्थान था, रास्ते से ही रात को वापसी करके हम यहाँ हैं। हम जब तक यहाँ से नहीं उठेंगे, जब तक हमारी माँ को, उस बेटी को न्याय नहीं मिल जाएगा, जब तक हम यहाँ से बिल्कुल एक कदम नहीं जाने वाले। चाहे हमें यहाँ आत्महत्या करनी पड़े, सुसाइड करना पड़े, हम भी।
अच्छा, आप जो हैं वो माँ हैं, और ये जो मोमेंट है बहुत बड़ा दुखदाई मोमेंट है किसी भी माँ के लिए इस वक्त। क्या पुलिस क्या आश्वासन दे रही है इस मामले के अंदर? एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन जो है, प्रशासन जो है, वो क्या आश्वासन दे रहा है आपको?
प्रशासन तो अभी कोई मिला भी नहीं है हमें। पुलिस आई, पुलिस से ना हस्बैंड पे भी लाठीचार्ज किया है, मेरे बेटे पे भी
लाठीचार्ज किया।
पुलिस ने लाठीचार्ज
लाठीचार्ज किया है यहाँ की पुलिस ने। एक मेरे बेटा यहाँ खड़ा है, उनके कपड़े भी फाड़े हैं। एक भतीजा, 2 भतीजे, उनको लाठीचार्ज किया। मेरे बेटे को खुद को लाठीचार्ज किया। मेरे हस्बैंड को भी मारा गया है। मेरी भाभी खड़ी थी मेरे साथ में, उनको भी मारा गया है। यहाँ की
आपकी बेटी ने कभी आज से पहले, ये जो हादसा होता है उससे पहले, हो सकता है महीने दिन पहले या हफ्ते दिन पहले, कभी इस तरह की शिकायत की कि कोई प्रेशर आ रहा है, बार बार प्रेशर?
पिछले मंडे को मेरी बेटी ने, जो सर थे उन्होंने टॉर्चर किया गया, तो हस्बैंड आए थे। हस्बैंड के साथ बैठ के बात की थी डीएम ने, और 4 सर ने बोला आपकी बेटी के साथ आगे ऐसा कुछ नहीं होगा। फिर पापा आ गए घर पे। मेरी बेटी ने ये कहा मुझे शारदा यूनिवर्सिटी में नहीं रहना है मम्मी, यहाँ पे मेरे को बहुत टॉर्चर कर रहे हैं, मुझे यहाँ से ट्रांसफ़र करवाना है, गुड़गांव में जाना है। मेरी बेटी को ये मौका पेपरों का दिया ही नहीं है। उससे पहले मेरी बेटी को इतना टॉर्चर कर दिया गया है, मरने के लिए मेरी बेटी को मजबूर कर दिया गया है।
देख सकते हैं आप जैसा कि यहाँ पर जो परिवार है और जो स्टूडेंट्स हैं लगातार जो है यहाँ पर प्रोटेस्ट कर रहे हैं। उनकी जो मांग है वो ये है कि इंसाफ जो है वो की लगातार गुहार लगा रहा है। उनका कहना है कि उनको इंसाफ मिल नहीं रहा है। और इस केस के अंदर अभी तक जो हमने पुलिस से बात करने की कोशिश की है, गौतम बुद्ध नगर पुलिस से, उनका कहना है कि इस मामले में 2 लोगों को अभी हिरासत में लिया गया है और उनसे लगातार तफ्तीश और सवाल जवाब का सिलसिला जारी है।
Well, that was my colleague Akhil, who was speaking to the parents who have been staging a protest outside the private university after when their child was found dead. Remember, 20-year-old committed a suicide alleging mental harassment by the authorities, by the professors, saying that there had been inaction after she had filed many complaints. The students have also been protesting. Akhil is back with us, I believe. Akhil, you're reporting from outside the university or the hostel, I believe, where the incident has taken place. The students' union is there. The parents are there. They are alleging mental harassment. Akhil, if you can just speak to the mother once again and ask her what kind of mental harassment did her daughter go through? What exactly was the cause after which the girl committed suicide?
Well, a shocking incident has come to light from this private university campus. Right here you can see what has happened, that a student has committed suicide. A BDS student, second year student, has committed suicide in a hostel on 12th floor. So right now the matter is being investigated by the Gautam Budh Nagar police team, and in this direction the police team is saying, the Gautam Budh Nagar police additional DCP, while speaking to the Republic TV, has confirmed this, that they have detained 2 persons in connection with the case. Right now I'm joined by the victim's mother. अच्छा, मुझे ये बताइए, ये जो हादसा होता है, इस हादसे से पहले कभी आपकी बेटी ने इस मामले का जिक्र किया कि उसको कॉलेज के फैकल्टी मेंबर्स जो हैं, टीचर्स जो परेशान कर रहे हैं, प्रेशर आ रहा है?
मंडे को क्या कहा? मंडे को बेटी अपने पापा को भी बुलाया है। बोली पापा आप बात करके चाहो, 4 सर हैं, 2 मैम हैं और 2 सर हैं, डीएम सर हैं। ये बैठ के बात करके गए हैं। डीएम सर ने खुद अपनी जिम्मेवारी ली है कि आपकी बेटी को कोई प्रेशराइज नहीं करेगा, मैं खुद एक्शन ले रहा हूँ, मेरी जिम्मेवारी है। उसके बाद हस्बैंड घर पहुँचे शाम को। मेरी बेटी ने मेरे को कहा मम्मी मुझे शारदा यूनिवर्सिटी में नहीं रहना है, मुझे ट्रांसफ़र करवाना है गुड़गांव के कॉलेज में, एसजीटी में। मेरी बेटी को टॉर्चर किया गया है और जब भी क्लास में गई है मेरी
टॉर्चर किस तरीके से? मेंटली हैरास कर रहे थे क्या? थोड़ा सा डिटेल में बताएं, क्या कुछ शेयर किया उसने आपसे?
मेरी बेटी ने ये शेयर किया कि मैं जो काम कर लेती हूँ, तो 4 जो सर हैं यहाँ के क्लास के जो स्टाफ हैं, वो क्या कह रहे हैं कि तुम तो खुद ही साइन कर लेती हो अपना काम करके, तो हमारे पास आने की क्या ज़रूरत है। कल वही मेरी बेटी और 2 क्लासमेट और थी, वो साइन करवाने गई तो बेटी का काम ऐसे फेंक दिया कि तुम तो खुद साइन कर लो, मेरे पास किस लिए शक्ल दिखाने के लिए आई हो।
मुझे बताइए, इसमें बार बार जो मसला निकल कर आ रहा है कि उसको परेशान किया था, टॉर्चर किया था, किस तरीके वो जो अब्यूज़ कर रहे थे किस तरीके से कर रहे थे? उसके काम को लेके क्या वो पढ़ाई में वीक थी, इस वजह से परेशान कर रहे थे?
बच्ची को प्रेशर ऐसे कर रहे थे कि तुम्हें फेल कर देंगे, तुम्हें फेल कर देंगे। ये हाँ, हर बच्चे को बीडीएस के 100 बच्चे हैं, 100 बच्चे डरे हुए हैं। जब ज्योति शर्मा के मम्मी पापा आए थे यहाँ पे, जब वो बच्चों की हिम्मत बनी नहीं, बच्चों को डरा रखा था, इस केस को दबाने के लिए कोशिश कर रहे थे। बच्चों की हिम्मत जब बनी, जब पेरेंट्स आए, बच्चों को बाहर भी नहीं निकलने दिया, बच्चों को ऐसे डरा के रखा था। और मेरी बेटी का कमरे के अंदर भी किसी सरकारी कर्मचारी को नहीं जाने दिया।
इस वक्त जो है यहाँ पर जो विक्टिम है, विक्टिम के फादर भी मौजूद हैं, उनसे ज़रा बात करने की कोशिश करते हैं। अच्छा, आपकी बेटी ने आपसे कम्युनिकेट करने की कोशिश की, बात करने की कोशिश की, क्या कुछ कहा आप?
ये सिर्फ ये बोला था कि वो उसको ना टॉर्चर कर रहे हैं, पर्सनलाइज मतलब टॉर्चर कर रहे हैं, ऐसा नहीं कि वो टारगेट किया जा रहा है उसको। तो फिर मैं आया डीन के पास, डीन ने बोला ठीक है आगे से कोई भी उसको कुछ नहीं बोलेगा और उसको अच्छे से जो भी काम है उस काम को अच्छे से अप्रूव करेंगे, सब कुछ ठीक है, कोई दिक्कत नहीं है। बट वो जो मैडम है सहरी,
आपकी जो बेटी थी वो पढ़ाई में वीक थी, उस वजह से प्रेशर दिया जाता था उस पर, क्या था?
पढ़ाई में वीक नहीं थी, वो इंटेलिजेंट थी, पढ़ाई में वीक नहीं थी। बहुत सारे बच्चों का कुछ नहीं हुआ, पूरा काम पर उनको उसको पर्सनल है ना हिट करना था क्योंकि वो अपोज कर देती थी बहुत सारी चीज़ों को। जब
उस तरह की चीज़ों को अपोज करती थी,
जब उन्होंने बोला कि आपके साइन नहीं है तो आप मिला लो, तो वो उस चीज़ को या कुछ बोलते तो वो अपोज कर देती थी कि नहीं है, ये ऐसा नहीं है जो आप बोल रहे हो गलत है।
Akhil, if you can also ask the father if this was the first time that the daughter had raised a concern like this, or if it was in the past as well, when complaints of harassment were already registered in the school campus, and were those complaints ignored by the college authorities?
Well, absolutely. I spoke to the mother of the victim and she has confirmed this to us that for the last 3 weeks she has been getting this kind of complaint that her teachers have been basically harassing her, mentally harassing her, and this was the complaint being raised by Jyoti in connection with the case. And after that, her father, the victim's father, met with the dean of this university campus as well, and after that he has assured him that in this direction a proper action is going to be taken. So what action has been taken, and no one knew basically that this girl Jyoti is going to take this extreme step. So right now it's a very unfortunate incident that has taken place at this very private university campus, in which what we have seen that a girl has committed suicide and who was in her second year of BDS degree.
Right. Akhil, one last question before I let you go. We've spoken to the parents. We have heard their narrative. We have heard what they have to say. But you've been reporting from ground and you've been tracking the story very closely. When you spoke to the friends of the victim, what do they have to say? Because she was staying in a hospital, so in her close proximity were her friends who have observed her day and night, who were with her, and they must have seen what the girl must have gone through and what she was actually facing more than the parents, because she was staying in a hostel, she was staying with her friends 24/7. What do they have to say regarding the case? Whose fault was it?
Well, absolutely. If you see, those students are basically reluctant to come on camera, but off camera they are saying that they are in their degree examination is round the corner and they don't want to be harassed by the other faculty members because they are fearing for their examination as well. Because they are saying if they will complain, then questions will raise against them also, that why they have basically complained against the university administration or the senior faculty members. So that's why they are completely mum on their side to speak on that matter.
Right, Akhil. Thank you very much for getting us those details. We'll keep coming back to you as and when there are more updates to the story. A top focus story here that remains on Republic. And before we move on to the other stories, ladies and gentlemen, this is what the mother of the victim had to tell my colleague Akhil. Remember, there is certainly an angle of a foul play that is coming to fore. Complaints of harassment were launched where they ignored. And was there a deliberate attempt to harass the girl? All of those questions are under scrutiny right now. Before we move on, listen in to what the victim's parent have to tell Republic.
स्टूडेंट ने BDS सेकेंड ईयर डेंटल कॉलेज के सेकेंड ईयर के स्टूडेंट ने इस यूनिवर्सिटी के अंदर, इस प्राइवेट यूनिवर्सिटी के अंदर सुसाइड किया। और इस वक्त आप देख सकते हैं हम ग्राउंड जीरो पे मौजूद हैं, जहां पर बड़ी संख्या में स्टूडेंट्स जो है वो इस वक्त प्रोटेस्ट कर रहे हैं। और हम यहाँ कोशिश करेंगे कि यहाँ पर जो प्रोटेस्ट कर रहे हैं स्टूडेंट्स हैं उनसे ज़रा बात करने की कोशिश करेंगे, उनसे ज़रा जानने की कोशिश करेंगे, क्योंकि इस मामले में अभी तक जो है पुलिस ने 2 लोगों को हिरासत में लिया है और पुलिस की लगातार जो जांच है इसमें वो जारी है और लीगल प्रोसीडिंग्स जो है जारी है। अच्छा, मुझे ये बताइए, हादसा जो है वो कब का है?
ये कल रात का हादसा है।
क्या हुआ था पूरा मामला?
कल 4 बजे क्लास से आई है।
जी हाँ,
कल 4 बजे क्लास से आई है। आते ही क्लास से छूट के आते ही पापा से भी बात करती है, मम्मी से भी करती है। कल बेटी को इतना टॉर्चर किया गया, ना पापा से बात करी है ना मेरे से बात करी है। 5:15 बजे मैं फ़ोन मिला, मेरी बेटी ने फ़ोन नहीं उठाया है। मेरी बेटी को इतना प्रेशराइज किया है। बेटी अपनी फ्रेंड से थोड़ी सी देर बात की होगी कि आ जाओ बैठो, बोली नहीं मुझे काम करना है। वो अंदर कमरे में, मुझे नहीं पता। मेरी बेटी को मारा गया है, यहाँ शारदा यूनिवर्सिटी वालों ने मारा है लटका के।
हमने सुसाइड नोट पढ़ा, उसके अंदर 2 टीचर्स के नाम लिखे गए हैं। क्या आपकी बेटी ने पहले कंप्लेन किया इस बारे में? कोई परेशान?
मेरे हस्बैंड मिले, बेटी को ये कहा गया है तुम खुद काम कर लेती हो तो खुद ही सिग्नेचर ले लो। मेरी बेटी
किस चीज़ का सिग्नेचर ले लो? किस चीज़ के लिए सिग्नेचर मांगा जा रहा था उससे?
बेटी जो क्लास में सर से काम करती है, साइन मांगने जाती है। पेपर थे 22 तारीख को कि हमारा काम कंप्लीट हो गया, आप साइन दे दो, तो उन्होंने साइन नहीं दिया है कि तुम तो खुद कर लेते हो, बच्चे तुम तो इतने स्मार्ट हो तो खुद ही कर लो, और बेटी का काम किया वैसे फेंक दिया।
तो आप ऐसा एलिज कर रही हैं कि पहले से प्रेशर जो है एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन की तरफ से, फैकल्टी की तरफ से लगातार बार बार लगाया जा रहा था।
हाँ जी, हाँ, बार बार टॉर्चर किया जा रहा है मेरी बेटी को।
आप जो है वो विक्टिम, जी हाँ,
जब एक माँ अपनी बेटी को यहाँ पढ़ने के लिए भेजी, सबसे पहले इस यूनिवर्सिटी कॉलेज की जिम्मेदारी कि वो बच्ची कैसे सेफ रहे, चाहे वो बीमार हो, चाहे वो मेंटली डिस्टर्ब हो, चाहे कोई भी समस्या हो। लेकिन अगर वो समस्या थी, इन्होंने उसका समाधान करने की जगह बच्ची को इतना टॉर्चर किया कि वो मजबूर हो गई अपनी हत्या लेने पर। कितना बुरा वो दृश्य होगा, रूह कांपती। आज वो माँ तड़प रही है अपनी उस बेटी के लिए। दूसरी बात, जिस कमरे में पुलिस प्रशासन नहीं पहुंचा, उसके बिना कॉलेज प्रबंधन ने उसको बेटी को निकाल के हॉस्पिटल पहुंचा दिया।
पुलिस तो कह रही है कि हमने इस मामले में एक्शन लिया है, दोनों को डिटेन किया है।
एक्शन क्या लिया है? जो गेट था हॉस्टल का, उसका गेट खुला हुआ था, बच्ची के आसपास कुछ भी हैंगिंग के लिए था ही नहीं, तो पुलिस हत्या की जगह उस पर हैंगिंग वाला आत्महत्या का मामला लगा रही। लेकिन आप कार्रवाई किस तरह कर रहे हैं? कार्रवाई आप यूनिवर्सिटी के खिलाफ भी करिए। जो यूनिवर्सिटी के टीचर हैं, डीन है, जो भी हैं, वो यूनिवर्सिटी की नौकरी कर रहे हैं। क्या यूनिवर्सिटी उनसे कहता है बच्चों को टॉर्चर कीजिए, बच्चों का हरेसमेंट कीजिए?
आपकी डिमांड ये है कि जो टीचर्स हैं उनको सस्पेंड किया जाए?
टीचर
हमारी सस्पेंड की किसी भी प्रकार की कोई मांग नहीं है, हम केवल सस्पेंड से रुकने वाले लोग हैं।
या आप जो है वो विक्टिम की मां है, क्या कह रही है?
मुझे मेरी बेटी ने जो 5 लोगों ने मारा है, मुझे फांसी की सजा चाहिए। उन बंदों को जब तक फांसी नहीं होगी तब तक मैं नहीं हिलूंगी, ना मैं अपनी बेटी लेके जाऊंगी। मुझे यहाँ पे इंसाफ चाहिए।
के साथ साथ इस यूनिवर्सिटी पर भी कार्रवाई होनी चाहिए। भाई बिना यूनिवर्सिटी की सह के कोई भी टीचर उसकी हिम्मत नहीं होगी ऐसे कर देगा। दूसरी बात, जब यूनिवर्सिटी में अब से पहले भी 2-3 प्रकरण ऐसे हुए, इस यूनिवर्सिटी पर जांच बैठानी चाहिए। प्रदेश सरकार को इसकी जांच करनी चाहिए कि ऐसा यहाँ होता क्यों है। क्या बच्चे मरने के लिए यहाँ भेज?
इससे पहले पिछला इंसिडेंट कब हुआ था यहाँ?
लगभग आंटी कब हुआ था? 2 साल पहले हुआ था। अभी बराबर के कॉलेज में, एक जिम्स कॉलेज, 3 महीने पहले एक लड़का इसी टॉर्चर के कारण वहाँ भी सुसाइड।
आप इस कॉलेज के अंदर किस डिपार्टमेंट में स्टूडेंट हैं?
हम यहाँ नहीं हैं, हम बाहर से आ रहे हैं, हम छात्र संगठन से हैं। हम माँ के लिए लखनऊ हमारा कल प्रस्थान सर, रास्ते से ही रात को वापसी करके हम यहाँ हैं। हम जब तक यहाँ से नहीं उठेंगे, जब तक हमारी माँ को, उस बेटी को न्याय नहीं मिल जाएगा, जब तक हम यहाँ से बिल्कुल एक कदम नहीं जाने वाले। चाहे हमें यहाँ आत्महत्या करनी पड़े, सुसाइड करना पड़े, हम भी।
अच्छा, आप जो है वो माँ हैं, और ये जो मोमेंट है बहुत बड़ा दुखदायी मोमेंट है किसी भी माँ के लिए इस वक्त। क्या पुलिस क्या आश्वासन दे रही है इस मामले के अंदर? एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन जो है, प्रशासन जो है, वो क्या आश्वासन दे रहा है आपको?
प्रशासन तो अभी कोई मिला भी नहीं है हमें। पुलिस आई, पुलिस से ना हस्बैंड पे भी लाठीचार्ज किया है, मेरे बेटे पे भी
लाठीचार्ज किया। पुलिस ने लाठीचार्ज किया है यहाँ की पुलिस ने। एक मेरे बेटा यहाँ खड़ा है, उनके कपड़े भी फाड़े हैं। एक भतीजा, 2 भतीजे हैं, उनको लाठीचार्ज किया। मेरे बेटे को खुद को लाठीचार्ज किया। मेरे हस्बैंड को भी मारा गया है। मेरी भाभी खड़ी थी मेरे साथ में, उनको भी मारा गया है। यहाँ की आपकी बेटी ने कभी आज से पहले, ये जो हादसा होता है उससे पहले, हो सकता है महीने दिन पहले या हफ्ते दिन पहले, कभी इस तरह की शिकायत की कि कोई प्रेशर आ रहा है, बार बार प्रेशर?
पिछले मंडे को मेरी बेटी ने, जो सर थे उन्होंने टॉर्चर किया गया, तो हस्बैंड आए थे, हस्बैंड के साथ बैठ के बात की थी डीएम ने, और 4 सर ने बोला आपकी बेटी के साथ आगे ऐसा कुछ नहीं होगा। फिर पापा आ गए घर पे। मेरी बेटी ने ये कहा मुझे शारदा यूनिवर्सिटी में नहीं रहना है मम्मी, यहाँ पे मेरे को बहुत टॉर्चर कर रहे हैं, मुझे यहाँ से ट्रांसफ़र करवाना है, गुड़गांव में जाना है। मेरी बेटी को ये मौका पेपरों का दिया ही नहीं है। उससे पहले मेरी बेटी को इतना टॉर्चर कर दिया गया है, मरने के लिए मेरी बेटी को मजबूर कर दिया गया है।
Viewers, after the phenomenal success of the first edition, in a few hours from now, the second edition of the Nationalist Collective Conclave will be live. A ringside seat to the biggest conclave on nationalism, an unprecedented opportunity for 100 Nationalist Collective members to be a part of Republic's Nationalist Collective Conclave. Stay tuned, viewers.
जीरा सिप जल जीरा मसाला सिप सिप जीरा सिप जीरा सिप इंग्लिश का जल जीरा सिप इंग्लिश का जल जीरा सिप
दादी के हाथों का जादू और खुशबू से महकता घर, माँ की मुस्कुराहट और खाने की सुगंध। MDH गरम मसाला,
क्योंकि हर रिश्ता है स्वाद से जुड़ा।
Bharat 1 Minute brought to you by Canara Bank. Together we can.
The Counter-Intelligence Kashmir unit of Jammu and Kashmir Police conducted searches at 10 locations across 4 districts in the valley. The raids are part of an ongoing investigation into a terror crime case linked to a terrorist sleeper cell and recruitment module handled by Jaish terrorist Abdullah Ghazi from across the border. The searches took place at 1 location in Pulwama, 6 in Ganderbal, 1 in Srinagar and 2 in Budgam districts. The Odisha Excise Department's AIAB Central Unit in Cuttack, led by the Excise Commissioner, dismantled a grain manufacturing of fake liquor. The 2 accused were brought to the Cuttack Excise Head Office for investigation, and this operation resulted in the seizure of more than 6,000 litres of spurious branded alcohol. Odisha Excise Commissioner Dharmendra Malik stated that the total estimated market value of the seized stock is around 77 lakh rupees. Punjab Police have detained a 24-year-old software engineer Shubham Dubey from Faridabad in connection with a series of bomb threat emails sent to the SGPC targeting the Golden Temple in Amritsar. Since the 14th of July, authorities received at least 6 emails warning of RDX blasts, prompting heightened security, sniffer dog sweeps and deployment of bomb disposal squads around the shrine. Dubey's laptop and mobile phones have been seized and are undergoing forensic analysis.
विमल बनाओ केसरी त्योहार। विमल, बोलो जुबान केसरी।
अब छोलिया हो या लोबिया, सफेद चने या काले चने,
सब कुछ मजेदार बने।
The reason we've launched the Nationalist Collective is because we believe it is time now for a group of ideologically driven Indians to drive the destiny of our country. For far too long, people who have had interests inimical to national interest have held sway. We need to put nationalism first, nation first. The Nationalist Collective is a very clear and sharp movement, presents the spirit of a new India which stands by what is right, does what is right, and raises its voice for what is right. Remember, this country is safe only if it is in the hands of nationalists. This country will grow only if nation first becomes our principal motto, where the only ism that matters is nationalism. Join the Nationalist Collective. It is going to be the largest non-political movement in this country.
From Asia's largest news headquarters, setting the agenda for Bharat. You're watching Republic.
MDH की देगी मीरज, देगी मिर्च का तड़का, अंग अंग फड़का। MDH की देगी मीरज।
MDH की हल्दी मिर्ची धनिया करे कमाल, ये रंग दे, ये खुशबू दे, ये तीखा, ये कम पड़े, क्या निराला MDH मसाला। From Asia's largest news headquarters, setting the agenda for Bharat. You're watching Republic.
After the phenomenal success of the first edition, in a few minutes from now, the second edition of the Nationalist Collective Conclave will be live. A ringside seat to the biggest conclave on nationalism, an unprecedented opportunity for 100 Nationalist Collective members to be part of Republic's Nationalist Collective Conclave. So, stay tuned. After US labels TRF as a global terror outfit, China calls for stronger regional anti-terror cooperation and strongly condemns the Pahalgam terror attack. US probe agency National Transportation Safety Board calls Air India 171 crash reports as premature and speculative, says it fully supports the AAIB's ongoing investigation. Patna police arrest 5 people in West Bengal in the Paras hospital shootout case. And SpaceX Falcon 9 rocket launches 24 Starlink satellites to polar orbit from California. And at this moment, we have big breaking news coming in. Enforcement Directorate has summoned representatives of search engine giant Google and social media Meta to record their statements in an ongoing investigation related to online betting. So, big story coming in from the Enforcement Directorate. It has summoned the representatives of Google and Meta. And this is regarding an online betting case. All right, Shravan is now joining us from the newsroom for more on that story. Shravan, what are the details in the case?
Well, in fact, for the first time, representatives of search engine giant Google as well as Meta have now been called in for questioning by the Enforcement Directorate. In fact, this is after the Enforcement Directorate had basically registered a case with regards to online betting. The initial investigation that has been carried out by the Enforcement Directorate basically indicates that these search engine giants as well as social media platforms have carried out surrogate advertisements of illegal brands, and these we are given to understand have now come under the scanner of online betting, and that is the reason why the representatives have essentially been asked to come and appear before the Enforcement Directorate's office here in the national capital on the 21st of July. This is primarily to understand the checks and balances that have been put into place by the social media giant as well as Google to basically look into it, whether at all there have been enough preventive measures that have been taken by Google as well as Meta to prevent the usage of their engines for further promotion of these brands. And that is the reason why the Enforcement Directorate, when in its preliminary report, had essentially suggested that a number of youth were basically duped because of these online betting apps. And these online betting apps, remember, have also been promoted by celebrities. In fact, just about a few days ago, 29 celebrities, Telugu stars, were basically, summoned by the Enforcement Directorate. Their name had basically surfaced in multiple FIRs that were registered in Telangana. In fact, we are now given to understand that this is part of that entire investigation due to which Google as well as Meta, their representatives have been called.
Also, Shravan, would like to know from you, can the ED really, hold global platforms like Google and Meta legally accountable under the Indian laws, like the PMLA, even if, these transactions happened outside India?
Well, let's be very clear that there are limited powers at this point in time. As I understand, as far as the online betting apps are concerned, this would largely be to understand what are the preventive measures that have been taken by Google as well as Meta. These shouldn't be viewed as some sort of a punitive action that has been taken against Google or, for that matter, Meta, because that is not perhaps the purpose for asking them to appear before the enforcement directorate. As we understand, this is primarily to understand what are the measures that they have taken, because what they are basically indicating is that these platforms have been used for promotion of surrogate advertisements, illegal brand endorsements of online betting apps, and that is the reason why the Enforcement Directorate Unit that is basically probing the online betting scam, they are basically looking at how these platforms have been used by the betting apps and whether at all they have been able to perhaps bypass certain rules. And that is the reason why the Enforcement Directorate believes that if at all representatives of Google and Meta appear before their investigating team, there would be more clarity on this particular issue. So this shouldn't essentially be viewed as some sort of a punitive measure or perhaps some action that the Enforcement Directorate wants to take at this point in time. It is primarily to understand the role of Google as well as Meta, because these platforms are largely used by the online betting companies to carry on with their advertisements, which the Enforcement Directorate believes is the reason why several youngsters have actually lost their money, and that is the reason why they believe that they need to step in.
All right. Thank you so much, Shaban, for all those updates there. And viewers, we need to move on, and this is the biggest story that we are tracking today, and that is the private university suicide case. And now there is an update in the case. Both college staff alleged to be the reason behind suicide have now been suspended from the university. Now, the university is cooperating with the Gautam Budh Nagar police investigation in this case. Remember, a second-year student of a private college ended her life by suicide in the girls' hostel room, and two faculty members of the university were arrested in the case after a suicide note was received, and the suicide note accused them of mental harassment. And this entire situation led to protest within the hostel premises, and the students also clashed with the police yesterday, and the police officers and the forensic team they inspected the crime scene, and the parents of the girl are alleging mental harassment by the teachers. And so far the police have arrested the two people in connection with the case. Akhil is our colleague is now joining us for more on this story. Akhil, what details are emerging because these two people who were named in the suicide note have been arrested. What is and they have been suspended as well from the university. What are the police saying at the moment?
Well, a shocking incident has come to light from a private university in Greater Noida. And what has happened that after that, what we have seen that a ruckus also took place inside the very campus when some of the students basically came out to protest, demanding action against those teachers who were allegedly being said that they are part of motivating that victim. So at this point in time, in a fresh development, what we have been seeing that the college administration has taken a strong action in that direction, and so far both the faculty's members have been suspended by the university administration side. And apart from that, the second important point to highlight is that at this point in time, a high-level committee has also been formed by the university. And what we have been seeing that the Gautam Budh Nagar team has so far detained 2 persons in connection with the case. And right now, the investigation is going on.
All right, and also would like to know from you what is the situation at the campus right now. As you were mentioning earlier, how the students had clashed with the police, and they are also, talking about foul play, and they're also saying that the teachers are mentally harassing them. So what is the situation on the campus right now?
Initially, some students from the outside has come and entered into the premises of the university, and after that, what we have been seeing that the university administration has made a PCR call, and the police team has arrived. The Gautam Budh Nagar police team arrived over there, and the situation has been calmed and controlled since then. So far, no untoward incident has taken place inside the very premises. And right now, what we are seeing on ground, that the parents of the victims are still at the very premises of the campus, and they are still demanding action against other 3 faculty members who basically been alleged by the victim in connection with the case. When the suicide note was found, she has said that there were pressure from 2 faculty members from the university who have been mentally harassing her, and due to which she has taken this extreme step.
Right. And Akhil, you also spoke to the parents of this person, of the victim. Let's listen in to what our reporter, what did the victim's parents spoke. Let's listen in.
कल 4 बजे क्लास से आई है, आते ही क्लास से छूट के आते ही पापा से भी बात करती है, मम्मी से भी करती है। कल बेटी को इतना टॉर्चर किया गया, ना पापा से बात करी है, ना मेरे से बात करी है। 5:15 बजे मैं फ़ोन मिला, मेरी बेटी ने फ़ोन नहीं उठाया है। मेरी बेटी को इतना प्रेशराइज किया है। बेटी अपनी फ्रेंड से थोड़ी सी देर बात की होगी कि आ जाओ बैठो, बोली नहीं मुझे काम करना है। वो अंदर कमरे में, मुझे नहीं पता। मेरी बेटी को मारा गया है, यहाँ शारदा यूनिवर्सिटी वालों ने मारा है लटका के।
हमने सुसाइड नोट पढ़ा, उसके अंदर 2 टीचर्स के नाम लिखे गए हैं। कभी क्या आपकी बेटी ने पहले कंप्लेन किया इस बारे में? कोई परेशान?
मेरे हस्बैंड मिले, बेटी को ये कहा गया है तुम खुद काम कर लेती हो तो खुद ही सिग्नेचर ले लो। मेरी बेटी
किस चीज़ का सिग्नेचर ले लो? किस चीज़ के लिए सिग्नेचर मांगा जा रहा था उससे?
बेटी जो क्लास में सर से काम करती है, साइन मांगने जाती है। पेपर थे 22 तारीख को कि हमारा काम कंप्लीट हो गया, आप साइन दे दो, तो उन्होंने साइन नहीं दिया है कि तुम तो खुद कर लेते हो बच्चे, तुम तो इतने स्मार्ट हो तो खुद ही कर लो। और बेटी का काम किया वैसे फेंक दिया।
तो आप ऐसा एलिज कर रही हैं कि पहले से प्रेशर जो है एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन की तरफ से, फैकल्टी की तरफ से लगातार बार लगाया जा रहा था?
हाँ जी, हाँ, बार टॉर्चर किया जा रहा है मेरी बेटी को।
प्रशासन जो है वो क्या आश्वासन दे रहा है आपको?
प्रशासन तो अभी कोई मिला भी नहीं है हमें। पुलिस आई, पुलिस से ना हस्बैंड पे भी लाठी चार्ज किया है, मेरे बेटे पे भी
लाठी चार्ज किया। पुलिस ने लाठी चार्ज किया है यहाँ की पुलिस ने। एक मेरे बेटा यहाँ खड़ा है, उनके कपड़े भी फाड़े हैं। एक भतीजा, 2 भतीजे हैं, उनको लाठीचार्ज किया। मेरे बेटे को खुद को लाठीचार्ज किया। मेरे हस्बैंड को भी मारा गया है। मेरी भाभी खड़ी थी मेरे साथ में, उनको भी मारा गया है। यहाँ की आपकी बेटी ने कभी आज से पहले, ये जो हादसा होता है उससे पहले, हो सकता है महीने दिन पहले या हफ्ते दिन पहले, कभी इस तरह की शिकायत की कि कोई प्रेशर आ रहा है, बार प्रेशर?
पिछले मंडे को मेरी बेटी ने, जो सर थे उन्होंने टॉर्चर किया गया, तो हस्बैंड आए थे, हस्बैंड के साथ बैठ के बात की थी डीएम ने, और 4 सर ने बोला आपकी बेटी के साथ आगे ऐसा कुछ नहीं होगा। फिर पापा आ गए घर पे। मेरी बेटी ने ये कहा मुझे शारदा यूनिवर्सिटी में नहीं रहना है मम्मी, यहाँ पे मेरे को बहुत टॉर्चर कर रहे हैं, मुझे यहाँ से ट्रांसफ़र करवाना है, गुड़गांव में जाना है। मेरी बेटी को ये मौका पेपरों का दिया ही नहीं है। उससे पहले मेरी बेटी को इतना टॉर्चर कर दिया गया है, मरने के लिए मेरी बेटी को मजबूर कर दिया गया है।
All right, our reporter there speaking to the parents of the victim, and they are also alleging foul play in the case. Remember, the 2nd-year-old BDS student of Sharda University died by suicide on Friday night in the girls' hostel, and this was located in the university campus in Greater Noida.
संवेदना व्यक्त करते हैं, साथ ही यह सुनिश्चित करना चाहते हैं कि चाहे जिसकी भी गलती हो उसको कड़ी से कड़ी सज़ा मिलेगी। अभी हम लोगों ने जो 2 आरोपित शिक्षक हैं उनको तत्काल प्रभाव से निलंबित कर दिया गया है, और प्रो वाइस चांसलर के नेतृत्व में एक उच्च स्तरीय कमेटी गठित की गई है। इनके रिपोर्ट आने के बाद जो भी आरोपित होंगे उनको कठोर से कठोर दंडात्मक कार्रवाई की जाएगी। शारदा विश्वविद्यालय में जो घटित घटना है इसमें एक छात्रा का सुसाइड का केस है। हम लोग मृतका के परिवार के साथ संवेदना व्यक्त करते हैं, साथ ही यह सुनिश्चित करना चाहते हैं कि चाहे जिसकी भी गलती हो उसको कड़ी से कड़ी सज़ा मिलेगी। अभी हम लोगों ने जो 2 आरोपित शिक्षक हैं उनको तत्काल प्रभाव से निलंबित कर दिया गया है, और प्रो वाइस चांसलर के नेतृत्व में एक उच्च स्तरीय कमेटी गठित की गई है। इनके रिपोर्ट आने के बाद जो भी आरोपित होंगे उनको कठोर से कठोर दंडात्मक कार्रवाई की जाएगी।
viewers, we have big breaking news coming in at this moment. Prime Minister Narendra Modi is likely to visit UK next week to sign the trade deal. So Prime Minister Modi to embark on a significant tour to the United Kingdom. And remember, this happening even as there are negotiations at the moment that are going on between the two nations to sign a landmark India-UK FTA or a free trade agreement. And amid these developments, a big story that we are tracking is Prime Minister Modi likely to embark on a tour to the United Kingdom. And remember, this visit really significant because this comes in the backdrop of 3 years of negotiations going on. Our executive editor Abhishek Kapoor is now joining us on the phone line. Abhishek, so Prime Minister Modi to participate in the signing of this India-UK FTA in the UK.
Well, yes, that would be a sort of a big statement on the world stage that India has been moving forward in terms of opening up its economy. Essentially, free trade agreements are about mutual bilateral understandings on market access, on tariffs, and in the present global scenario, in the backdrop of the tariff wars launched by President Donald Trump and more than tariff wars, tariff tantrums, I think this would be a big statement that with the Western economy and a key economy in the world, in fact, located at the center of, so to say, world trade, with London being its capital, India has successfully concluded a complex set of negotiations, and those have translated into this free trade agreement in which both sides have reached a win-win situation. So even the British are really excited that this deal has happened because for them, India provides market access equivalent to the entire European Union. And for them to have struggled for a while after Brexit, this is going to be, or is being seen as a big turnaround for their economy. So for Prime Minister to be there in London with Prime Minister, his counterpart, Keir Starmer, and to be signing that agreement would be a photo op for the world to really watch. And the Prime Minister essentially visiting United Kingdom for that. In terms of the details of the trade, all of the 70 or 80 chapters, it was a painstaking dialogue spread over more than a couple of years. In fact, essentially because of the turbulence in the United Kingdom, because of the nature of their politics and the change of government that have taken place, or 3 or 4 governments really negotiated with the Indian side. The same set of negotiators so far as India was concerned, but because of that flux, this took a bit of time. So be it the access to British special goods like their whiskies and their other liquors, and then for India to be giving them preferential access in terms of reduction of tariffs. All those details have been finally agreed upon, and in fact the agreement itself had taken place just about a few months back. But now, of course, there would be a formal signing agreement and ceremony for which Prime Minister is traveling. In fact, there was this visit of Prime Minister to the standalone visit to the United Kingdom pending. So those two get clubbed. But essentially, the showpiece of the visit would be the signing of the free trade agreement between India and the United Kingdom.
Absolutely. And Abhishek, these developments are coming in even as India and the United States, as Donald Trump has also been, saying that they are very close to a deal. And there, amid the global uncertainties at the moment, as far as the trade market is concerned, this is a very significant move. India and the UK, finally, the FTA coming in.
Well, absolutely. So India, in fact, has signed about half a dozen free trade agreements over the last few years. For example, with Australia, with Dubai, with the UAE, I beg your pardon, and with the EFTA in the European bloc. So it's not that this is the first one, but this is going to be a major one. And in that sense, it would be sort of act as a flagship for subsequent deals coming. We have had President Trump, for example, speaking about the next big deal coming, so far as the United States is concerned, is with India. and he has said this at least 3 or 4 times in the last 10 days alone, which means even the India-US trade talks are in their, a conclusive stage. There have been some, issues that need to be creased out, for which, as we speak, a team of Indian negotiators is already there in Washington, D.C., and most likely this time we are going to hear some good news on the India-US trade front also. But obviously, before that, the India-UK trade deal getting signed and the photo op that's going to be there with Prime Minister Modi in London and Keir Starmer there, I think that's going to be an indication to the world community from India that you come with clean hands. And in a spirit of give and take, there is always a possibility to sign a win-win trade deal with India, as is happening with the United Kingdom now, or earlier with Australia, or with EFTA, or with the UAE.
Right. Thank you so much, Abhishek, for those details there. My colleague Krutarth is also now joining us live from the newsroom for more on this story. Krutarth, has there been any details about the itinerary of the Prime Minister at the moment right now?
Well, it is in a very initial stage right now because the Ministry of Commerce and the PMO is very tight-lipped about the schedule. But it is interesting to note, Aishwarya, that next week on around July 25th, Prime Minister Narendra Modi was set to visit Maldives for the Independence Day celebrations. He's been invited this year. So it is very clear that this trip also could be clubbed in and around that trip, because whenever the Prime Minister goes abroad, he usually clubs a couple of visits together. So in this case, the most likely window...
जन गण मन अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड़ उत्कल बंग विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्छल जलधि तरंग तब शुभ नामे जागे तब शुभ आशीष मांगे गाहे तब जय गाथा जन गण मंगलदायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे भारत माता की.
And as I said, it's an unwavering dedication to the nation that continues to inspire billions. आप सब आज हमारे साथ हैं और इस कार्यक्रम की शुरुआत हम दीप प्रज्वलित करके करना चाहेंगे. We would like to invite all our esteemed dignitaries on stage who hold nation first, who hold the spirit of India in their hearts. So I would like to invite, if I can call our editor-in-chief, Arnab Goswami, along with all the dignitaries to be on stage, who are our esteemed speakers on stage for the lighting of the lamp.
और हम चाहेंगे कि हमारे पहले संस्करण में एम्बेसडर दीपक वोरा, मेजर डीपी सिंह सभी स्टेज पर आएं और इस कार्यक्रम की विधिवत शुरुआत करें. मैं चाहूँगा हमारे सहयोगी से वो लैंप लाइटिंग के लिए कैंडल ले आएं. और ये कोशिश हमारी है, ये राष्ट्रवादी लॉ जो आज हम यहाँ से जला रहे हैं, ये पूरे देश में रहे, ये पूरे देश में जाए, क्योंकि ये लॉ आज रिपब्लिक मीडिया के माध्यम से जली है, लेकिन इसकी कोशिश यही है सुचरिता कि हर देशवासी के जहन में, हर देशवासी के दिल में राष्ट्रवाद की भावना उत्पन्न हो.
प्रज्वलन के साथ ही भारतीयता की ये लौ जलाए रखने का एक संकल्प पुनः हम सब ले रहे हैं.
और राष्ट्रवादी समूह से पूरे देश भर से आज हमारे बीच में कई लोग मौजूद हैं जो राष्ट्रवाद की भावना लेकर हमारे बीच आए हैं. और सभी गणमान्य अतिथियों ने भी पहले संस्करण में बताया था कि हम कैसे अपने राष्ट्र को आगे ले जा सकते हैं। आज फिर से ये लॉ हमने जलाई है दूसरे संस्करण में राष्ट्रवादी समूह के। यहाँ से हम नए विचार, नए संवाद के जरिए राष्ट्र के उत्थान के लिए आने वाले स्पीकर्स को सुनेंगे। और मैं चाहता हूँ कि एक बार फिर जोरदार तालियों से राष्ट्रवादी समूह की जो विधिवत शुरुआत हुई है, आप सभी सहयोग करें। आप सभी का बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद।
And can we have the network AV, please?
भारत दुनिया की चौथी सबसे बड़ी अर्थव्यवस्था है और बहुत जल्द तीसरी बनने जा रही है।
When I first visited the US as a Prime Minister, India was the 10th largest economy in the world. Today, India is the
केसरिया